Good evening. Holy crap. ATS, Phantom, Carly, allegedly. Jen K, you switched your name from We're All Mad Here to Jen K. What's up? Kelt. There was somebody else in here. Where is the name? Kib Kitty? I thought there was a name in here I haven't seen before. Maybe it was Jen K. I was like, whoa, that looks weird. What's up? Well, there's a little bit of U of I stuff. I don't know if everybody's seen it or been updated on it, but I really haven't. A couple videos I want to check out. First off, I want to thank Carly so much for taking the time to make a Facebook group for the channel. So I'm going to go ahead and post some links here. Give me 1 second. Whoa, where's my folder? There it is. All right, first I'm going to put up some channel links. We're going to put up a couple here real quick. Yes, thank you so much, Carly. I'll put up the Facebook group link in a second. I'm going to send a shout out to ATS. I'm going to send a shout out to Allegedly. And here is the Facebook group. If you guys would like to join it. Kind of like what I was talking about last night about, you know, like ideas, topics, all that good stuff. Again, thank you, Carly, so much for doing that for me. So excited to be able to have that up for all of us so we can kind of put all of our thoughts into that, and then we can kind of dip from that. Maybe like nights like tonight where it's just kind of whatever. So if there's anything that anybody would like to talk about, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll open up the panel here in a minute. I uploaded a group warning image to the group. Oh boy. Well, it's nice to see you back, Jen, from last night. Appreciate you coming back in 2 nights in a row. Thank you so much. And let's see here. So I'm going to go to Alexandra's Twitter and see what she's got on here. The coroner stated that the 4 victims were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds and each was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault. Here's all the documents. Okay, pretty much the account. Autopsy's completed. Check this video out real quick.
You know, it was late at night or early in the morning, so it seems likely that maybe they were sleeping.
Were they found in separate areas of the house?
That hasn't been disclosed yet.
Can you tell me, when you say that they might have been sleeping, were they found in beds?
Yeah, no kidding, allegedly. I know,
yes.
Man.
And so, can you tell me if there were multiple stab wounds per victim, or were these sort of, you know, individual lethal stab wounds that may have been less in number but more in lethality?
There were multiple stab wounds, yes, on them. So, and
were there? Go ahead.
And most of them had just.
I'm
like
freezing
one
too, Jen.
that
Oh
was
my
the
gosh, I've been
lethal,
freezing all day.
stab wound. Yes.
It's 30
Can you
degrees
describe
here.
what that one might have been?
But they were to the fatal ones were to the chest area or the upper body area.
Were there, and I only ask
Wow.
this because it sometimes determines what kind of a crime this was, a crime of passion, a random crime, a fight,
Chest
a struggle.
and
Or was
upper
there,
body.
were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. And they were definitely stabbings. And
Oh my
I mean, it has
gosh.
to be somebody that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death.
Wow. Here, I thought dude just went in and slashed. No, this dude was stabbing. Holy crap. Holy crap. Release a map of the victim's path. Is it gonna... Oh, there we go. Oh. Alright, well, I mean, I'll look at that another time. No, get out of here. Let's see. A source who lived in the house from 2012 to 2015 told us about the layout of the house. It would be hard to hear anything from the bottom level. He said a sliding glass door on a second level leads out to backyard that backs up to a remote area. With a... Yeah, man, but that's... Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh, A&W. I miss A&W. They're Coney dogs. Oh gosh, A&W sounds so good. Let's see. Corner Club owner said he will not speak to the victim's whereabouts or actions in the bar that night. Now, I heard something today that somebody within the law enforcement for the Delphi case came out and said that the Keegan Klein search on the river was connected to the Delphi case, and they weren't supposed to release that. But there's somebody inside the law enforcement that told a reporter that. So that's interesting. Australia. Hey, Robin. Hey, it's nice to see you in here. I saw you making some comments and stuff. It's nice to see you hop in. How you doing tonight? Australia. Wow, what time is it over there right now? Yeah, the truth is out there, and trust no one, that's for sure. Wow. Yeah, thanks for joining, Robin. Hope you're having a good night. We're just kind of checking up some updates here real quick, and then we're just going to kind of get into whatever anybody wants to talk about or hop in. You can hop in the panel. So much fun. Okay, what is this? A targeted attack. I just lost my entire web story draft. Oh, that sucks. Ouch, have not been released. Okay, so this... Alright, this is so the autopsy already got released. So we can switch to some videos here. Midday Saturday. Wow. Oh, you're very welcome, Robin. This is an atmosphere of oxygen. We do not like carbon dioxide, so we like to keep our atmosphere comfy, safe. Safe place, comfy place, fun place. My ship docked in Fremantle and I took the train to Sydney, then got drunk and ended up in Melbourne. Sounds like a movie, allegedly. That's the title right there. My ship docked in Fremantle and I took the train to Sydney, then I got drunk and ended up in Melbourne. I only do well on OT. Allegedly said, who am I kidding? I was drunk half an hour into arriving and pretty much all. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to play a couple of these videos here. Let me see here. I think these are the newest ones. It's hard telling since I made all these. Oh, wait. Let's see. I think. Where was it? What's the new one? I think this is the new one. A whole bunch of videos. I don't know if I'm going to get into all of them. But we'll definitely check out a couple. I do want to check out. Which one was it? There was one that had. Man, which one was it? Here's what we know. New details. All right, we'll just go ahead and start with this one here. We chose a cold stare grapefruit.
Evidence. ABC News takes us there.
New clues this morning as police search for a killer following the gruesome deaths of 4 University
Please like the video.
students at an off-campus home, 2 roommates surviving. Overnight, a family spokesperson for one of those roommates telling ABC News exclusively the young woman is traumatized and working with the FBI. Idaho State Police telling ABC's Kana Whitworth the 2 surviving roommates have been very cooperative.
Talking with them to figure out what occurred and why. That's their story to tell. Potentially they are witnesses. Potentially they are victims. We want to protect
they're the key
potentially
to this
they're
whole
the key.
thing.
Exactly. Potentially they're the key to this whole thing.
ABC News has learned the survivors did not make the call to 911, which came in several hours after the murders.
Many of our witnesses and people who knew these folks or
wow, I thought they did, so they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so the investigators are having to go wherever.
Well, who did?
The county coroner releasing the
That's
autopsy,
weird.
confirming all 4 victims were stabbed to death, saying she
Oh my
believes a
gosh.
large knife was used, but it has yet to be determined, quote, whether there were any defensive wounds. At the home on King Street, the Idaho State Police crime lab at the scene, looking for any new evidence. Authorities asking local businesses if anyone has recently bought a fixed blade knife.
Hi.
Welcome back. This video from early Sunday morning helping investigators piece together a timeline. Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan seen at a local food truck, laughing and taking pictures just hours before they were brutally murdered, along with Zaina Kernodle and Ethan Chapin. Meanwhile, fear growing in the community as police follow leads.
No one has been ruled included or excluded as a person of interest and or a suspect.
Yeah,
Everyone is
Robin, they're still out
I think
there.
a lot of people are afraid, and I'm definitely nervous.
Abigail
All right,
Spencer,
allegedly,
editor
I'll
of
look
the
for
school
it.
newspaper, says there is more police presence, but
I'll open up
campus
the
is
panel
clear.
here in a
Many
minute.
students have gone home.
There's still a suspect at large. There's still so much we don't know about the case.
The coroner
Yeah.
says she believes each victim was.
Let me see here. Let's see. No suspect. We'll go check this one out here.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I think I would like the carbonara.
Okay.
A Twitch live stream now the latest clue in the unsolved quadruple murders of 4 University of Idaho students.
And then what was the mac?
Don't forget to remove the
The
spoon.
carbonara.
The carbonara mac of the week.
Here, I'll grab it for you.
Excellent. And then click see rewards.
Officials say the video, taken in the early morning hours of November 13th, could help investigators create a timeline leading up to the deadly stabbings.
Enjoy. And it looks like you do not quite have enough funds yet.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
$10 for it.
Perfect.
The video shows two students ordering from a food truck in downtown Moscow, Idaho, between 1:30 and 4:30 Sunday morning. Hours later, the pair and two others would be found stabbed to death in an off-campus home.
Cool. Thank you.
47. Thank you very much.
While investigators have not yet confirmed the identity of the two students in the Twitch video, they have released some details about the quadruple murders. Police say a 911 call came in just before noon on Sunday, November 13th. For an unconscious person at an off-campus home. Inside, 4 students were found stabbed to death with no signs of forced entry. The victims were identified as 21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez, 21-year-old Madison Mogan,
I know, it's so sad just going to get a bite to eat, laughing, giggling it up, and, you know, not even knowing a short period of time later, tragedy.
20-year-old Xana Carnodal, and 20-year-old Ethan Cheapin. All 4 were members of sororities or fraternities. Investigators say 2 more roommates were at home at the time of the murders who were not injured. Moscow Police Chief James Fry says he is unclear why the other 2 roommates waited until 11:58 a.m. on Sunday to call 911. The previous night, investigators say the 4 students went out to different events near the university, as Cheapin and Carnodal went to an on-campus party, and Gonzalez and Mogan headed to a bar. Investigators say the group arrived home at about 1:45 Sunday morning. So far, a suspect has not yet been named, and a murder weapon has not been recovered. The Moscow police chief says 25 investigators are now on the case alongside state police and the FBI. Autopsies on the students are set to be completed.
Hey buddy, this is all I got in the email. Nada. I don't know. Maybe try it again? Not sure. Okay, let me see here. Okay, here's a... Let's see, this one shows the timeline.
Inside their home, just off campus. Still, very little details have been released about what happened that night. Here's what we know as of this afternoon. On Sunday, just before noon, someone called 911 to report an unconscious person at a home on King Road in Moscow. That's where police found the 4 victims: Ethan Chapin, Xana Carnodal, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez. We know there were 2 other roommates in the home at the time of the murders, and when police got there, they were not hurt, and police say they are cooperating. Moscow police wouldn't go so far, though, as to call them witnesses. And yesterday, the coroner's office released the autopsies and found all 4 were stabbed to death with a knife early Sunday morning. Police have not found a suspect or suspects and don't have any people of interest right now.
Let's see, they didn't wake up until roughly the time the police arrived. They allegedly came down. Are you serious? That just sounds weird. That just sounds weird. Because it said that they had been passed for quite a while. I'm surprised, and I don't know. I've never been around that kind of a scene, but I would imagine there would be some kind of smell, right? Not necessarily decomp, but blood. You know, there would be some kind of smell. I would think, like, that's because if it happened between 3 and 4, the police didn't get there until noon, right? Noon. Exactly, Jen. Like, I wonder who called 2. And like, they called because somebody was unconscious, this is, I don't know, it's just sounding weird right now. See, I initially thought that, yeah, exactly, Robin. Like, and then they basically wake up and walk down to the police already there. Something just don't, not that they did anything. I'm not saying that they did anything. But maybe they were too scared. Maybe they got, I don't know. That it's just weird that, you know, I get like if you're out drinking and you're sleeping in late, but you still have your smell senses, your exactly, Carly, that's what I'm saying. Right. You think it would have to. What they saw, the last 3 sentences, bombshell. I saw a deer get cleaned and it had only been dead for an hour, and this exactly, like, how could them, that's just weird. So they laid there like for 8 hours and didn't notice. That's just weird as hell. Let me try and make Carly a mod here real quick. Sorry about that. Let's see. Killer may have gotten frustrated. No, no. Ooh, that's an interesting suggestion there, Robin. I could definitely see that. Wow, that's a good suggestion. How do you know someone is unconscious and not see? Well, I'm thinking that somebody was okay, but this is what, so the front door was left partially open. Let me check my email again here too. So the front door was left partially open. So how did somebody, they said that there was so much blood that it was like dripping out. So I don't know why, number one, somebody would call for an unconscious person if they literally did walk up to the door to try and knock on it to say, hey, 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 and then they saw somebody laying there. But with how bloody it was, why would they just say unconscious? You know what? Robin makes a really good point. And the more that I think about it, the more that sounds very realistic, because I don't understand. See, by the roommates not calling and not waking up, that just makes me think like the killer threatened them. But then why would he leave those 2 and take out the other 4? I don't understand that. I could see somebody not going to the cops until the cops come to them, because if they're scared that somebody might come back and do more. What the heck? This is crazy. Wonder how the killer got away with it. I know, because they said it was very, very lot of ketchup. They said it was really white. It didn't. I know, this is what's not making sense. Well, let's go to this email that allegedly sent me here from Dylan Mortensen. Well, first off, we heard Xana and Ethan came home first and talked to him. What? Allegedly. Are they saying that they talked to the guy? That they were both drunk and that's when we went to bed. We live on the 3rd floor and always lock our doors to prevent people from stumbling in our rooms. We're used to noise because, because it's a party house. We were up late that night and didn't come downstairs until noon when the cops came to investigate. We came downstairs and we saw the bodies bound and gagged. What? Whoa. If anybody has any links or videos or anything that they want to send, go ahead and send it to EvilleCJ@gmail.com. I hope there's some video footage too. There's got to be there's got to be ring cameras or something. I mean, there always is anymore. There was a light bulb camera at the doorstep. Really? That's the roommate explaining that the boy and girl came home first. But that's crazy, man. We came downstairs and we saw the bodies bound and gagged and blood everywhere. So much blood. We didn't make the phone call. We don't know who did. And then it cuts off. Is there more to that, allegedly? Yeah, that's crazy. That's the first time I heard this. Thank you for the information, allegedly. Holy crap. Wow. Okay. I'm going to play this video here, and then I'm going to try and add Carly as a mod real quick. This is crazy. Wow, I did not realize that this... I did not realize that it was like this. Waking up to some shit here today. Well, not waking up, but getting off work and getting home to some shit. Whoa. Alright, let me go back to this video.
All 4 were stabbed to death with a knife early Sunday morning.
Wow.
Found a suspect or suspects and don't have any people of interest right now. An investigative reporter,
right, and it was a party house.
Joins us live here on the news at 4. Morgan, I know you've been digging into this.
All right.
Yeah, we did learn today, Shira, that the Latah County coroner believes it's likely that at least some of the 4 victims were asleep at the time. She wouldn't specify which of the victims. We also know that this happened in the early morning hours of Sunday. That is confirmed. The coroner tells 7 Investigates bed sheets were taken from the home for testing, but she couldn't speak to any defensive wounds or the specific
found
time
and gagged.
on Sunday morning.
That's crazy.
Police put out a clearer picture of the hours leading up to the attack. They released a timeline and the locations of where all 4 victims were before they were murdered at their home on King Road in Moscow.
This horrific attack on 4 college students happened less than a mile from the University of Idaho campus. Sororities and fraternities and their out-of-houses are mostly centralized in this area. New information from Idaho State Police reveals 2 of the victims, Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle, were together Saturday night, November 12th. They went to a Sigma Chi fraternity party across from their home on King Road from 8 to 9 p.m. The other 2 victims, Kaylee Gonsalves and
it's
Madison
not showing
Logan,
you, Carly.
were at the Corner Club on Main Street. It's about a mile and a half away from the home on King Road. Police say they were there from around 10 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. After leaving the bar, the girls
let me rewind this just to avoid the copyright real quick.
Reveals 2 of the victims. This horrific attack on 4
1 second. Okay, 1 second here. Let me go to this real quick. I want to show this picture that Carly just sent to me. Thank you very much for this picture. It shows, if I can zoom in, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Right here, I don't know if it's hard to see or not. Here, I can change my screen here and maybe it'll zoom it up a little better. Yeah. It shows that camera right there. How they had to have, why is the camera that low in the first place? Like, how effective is that camera if it's really right there? I mean, you could just throw a t-shirt over it if you really wanted. Thank you for the picture. I do want to show you this real quick because I'm trying to add you as a mod and this is all that shows up. Wi-Fi based. Yeah, but why wouldn't they put it like above the door? I mean, you can just throw a t-shirt over that and no big deal. Yeah, I can't find you on there. The same thing happened with allegedly, where I couldn't find him for a while and then I found him. So I'm not sure how I can get you on there. I'll definitely keep checking back and trying. So let me go back to, that's a different, I know. That's the only one that it shows. And then it shows Carly Odom, and that's not you. And then these are all the people that I had to block, all the sex bots. Yeah, I'm not sure. Little people. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that, but maybe I'll just keep checking and see if we can get that worked out.
Where all four victims were before they were murdered at their home on the King Road in.
This horrific attack on 4 college students happened less than a mile from the University of Idaho campus. Sororities and fraternities and their out-of-houses are mostly centralized in this area. New information from Idaho State Police reveals 2 of the victims, Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle, were together Saturday night, November 12th. They went to a Sigma Chi fraternity party across from their home on King Road from 8 to 9 p.m. The other 2 victims, Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan, were at the Corner Club on Main Street. It's about 1.5 miles away from the home on King Road. Police say they were there from around 10 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. After leaving the bar, the girls went to the Grub Truck just down Main Street from the Corner Club. It's about a 6-minute walk. They're seen in a video from the food truck, ordering food around 1:40 Sunday morning. U of I students tell us it's a common weekend routine to go from the Corner Club to the food truck. Idaho State Police says all 4 victims were back at the King Road house, a little more than 1 mile from the food truck, by 1:45 a.m. Sunday, November 13th. What unfolded after that is unclear. It wasn't until noon on Sunday police received a call of an unconscious person. When they got to the home on King Road, they found the 4 victims, Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie, dead. They confirm all 4 were stabbed early Sunday morning. The Latah County coroner tells us all the victims could have been killed with the same knife or a very similar knife. Police say they haven't yet found the weapon.
And during the only and first news conference held earlier this week, reporters asked Moscow police about that video from the food truck that I mentioned. It's circulating all over social media. Moscow Police Chief James Fry says this Twitch video
it's very
tragic.
tragic.
Give them the time and space of where Maddie and Kaylee were leading up to
I can't believe that message that we got from allegedly,
In this live stream
that's
from the Grub Truck, you see the girls
bound
walking
and
to the cabin
gagged.
and up the
That's
food truck.
crazy.
It appears they're with a young man, the one in the hat and dark jacket.
Gosh.
Here you can see him put his hood on. He hangs back several feet behind the girls.
Now, as far
they
as I
order from
heard,
the
he's
food
been
truck.
cleared.
He then follows Kaylee and Maddie after they order and stands right next to them. It looks like he never ordered any food, but you can see him talking.
As far as I heard, he's been cleared, but I heard there's a Uber driver. Is that been checked out? There's like a Jake, some Jake guy. Is that Jake right there in the hoodie? I heard there's some Jake guy and some Uber driver.
Talking to other people there. Several minutes later, the girls grab their food, take a picture, laugh and talk to each other, and quickly walk away. One of the people the young man is talking to points out that the girls left. He throws up his hand, waits a moment, and then appears to walk after them. You see him wave at the girls and then walk a separate direction. This recording shows all 3 are at the food truck for about 10 minutes, and police say Kaylee and Madison were home just minutes later, by about 1:45. Their home is a little more than 1 mile from the Grub Truck. A University of Idaho student who says he's friends with the victims told us this young man was with the girls at the Corner Club before this. ISP says authorities contacted the young man in the video and they interviewed him as part of the investigation. They are not labeling him as a suspect or person of interest at this time.
Again, police say they have not identified a person or persons of interest or a suspect in this investigation. But anyone near these areas who saw anything suspicious, has surveillance video,
Not cleared?
or can provide any critical information about this and can help the investigation is really asked to call the tip line. That number is there on your screen, 208-883-7180.
Thanks for the correction, man.
You can also
Is there-
now email that email address on your screen, tipline at...
Let me pause that real quick so the information is up there for a split second. So is there an Uber driver? And who's this Jake? I know Jake's like an ex-boyfriend or something that supposedly called a whole bunch. Is that Jake?
ci.moscow.id.
Jake from State Farm. No, I guess there's some Jake that is an ex of one of the girls or something, and they supposedly talked a whole bunch. Long live the Queen. Yeah, Scottish Queen likes to make dramatic entrances, we'll just say. The Sinister mentioned a Jack called, yeah. The sister mentioned a Jack called 6 times. Yeah, that's right, Jack. Like a whole bunch or something. Yeah.
We are continuing to bring you more coverage on the murder of 4 University of Idaho students today. Idaho State Police should have a map of where the victims were at specific times during the night. And as we learn more about the night of the killings,
nobody was saying he was the killer.
The official manner and cause of
It was
death.
just a hoodie guy that was just acting weird.
Senator Nodal and Ethan Chapin were found dead inside a home near the university's campus last Sunday. Nicole Hernandez has not stopped covering this story for us. She's in the newsroom right now. Nicole, what did we learn from this autopsy report?
So, Tim, the Spokane County Medical Examiner finished those autopsies yesterday and sent them over to the Latah County Coroner. With that, the coroner sent this out. At the bottom right here, you can see cause of death, homicide, murder, and manner of death is stabbing. Moscow PD says that whoever did this used a large knife. We also learned yesterday Idaho State Police say investigators think the killer got into the house through the sliding glass door. ISP says the forensic team is taking
So not
another
through the
look at
front.
house to make sure they didn't miss any details.
We intend to come out and solicit information from the public.
But to not steal anything, you know, no assaults, very personal. Very personal, very angry. Very personal. Because to do all that, no assaults, no theft, and using a blade that size to make sure that it was done. I mean, because if they're saying that these weren't punctures because of the size of the blade, then it's, you know, it wasn't a weapon to threaten somebody with. It was a weapon to remove somebody. I don't, man, remember that they thought the same. Yeah. Well, your friends will be the ones that'll screw you over quicker than your enemies. And that's been the truth for a long time. They're around you more and they know more about you. That's the unfortunate part. That's why I keep my circle very small. I like a frenzy, yeah, up close and personal. Yeah, like exactly. Like it had that. Like that's a lot of anger in that crime right there. A lot of anger to use that kind of blade, that many people, that kind of fashion. It's just crazy that these 2 other roommates, I mean, I get it if you're drunk as shit and you're sleeping. But I'll be damned, man, like I don't care how drunk I was. If somebody took a shit in the next fucking room, I'd probably wake up from it and be like, oh, you know? Aroused. Scottish Queen. Aroused. Then I'm just surprised there wouldn't be any kind of assault if there was some kind of arousal associated with it. Let me see. All right, so that's pretty much it. We just found out little bit more of the timeline, how they were found, what the police think they came through. There was something else here too. Delphi, I think here. Wanted to. Oh my gosh, falling asleep with earbuds on. I did that a couple times and my ears woke up freaking hurting. Bad. Jeffrey Kernodle, the father of victim Zaina, said she fought her attacker. Hey, TS. Yeah, I heard that they had some defensive wounds, but then I also heard that they weren't necessarily confirming them as defensive. And if you don't already, make sure you please follow ATS. She has amazing content. Ed Kemper didn't go after heads until it. Yeah, that's true. That is true, allegedly. Yeah, I did hear that though, Jen. And thank you so much. And they were a couple. One girl, from what I recall, had yeah, it's the girlfriend of the of the male. Yeah. Yeah, I heard she was the one that had them. And then Jen says that the said that she fought her killer, bruises, torn by the knife. She's a tough kid. Whatever she wanted to do, she could do it. Aw. Probably trying to save her man. Poor thing. Gosh, last night I fell asleep during your live and woke up and you were finishing. Yeah, it was a long show last night. 3 hours. It was a good show though. I figured you fell asleep. We didn't hear from you anymore after a bit. All right, there's a couple. What do I got on Twitter? Something popped up in a second. From Angela. What does she have brand new? Oh, just some more documents. Okay. I wanted to check. Let's see what this one says here about Delphi real quick.
Following a developing story out of Delphi.
It just hours ago that we learned that the judge overseeing the Delphi murder case wants the man accused of killing Abby and Libby in the courtroom for an appearance on Tuesday. Now, if that happens, that's going to be the very first time we're allowed to see Richard Allen since.
Yes, please. Please, 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 please. ATS. That was a quote from the article. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jen.
Him in the case.
The judge will be deciding whether to release the sealed documents detailing his arrest
Tuesday.
during that hearing. 13 News will be
Tuesday.
there when the judge makes her decision Tuesday, and we'll keep you updated on air and online at WTHR.com, as well as our streaming service, WTHR Plus.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Following a developing story out of...
Whoa, come on. Why is it acting weird? Okay, there's one more of the video I want to check out real quick. Crime Talk. We got some info from Mr. Crime Talk, Scott Reich.
The Delphi town prepares for a hearing next week. The Debbie Collier case is ruled a suicide. Alec Murdoch provides his notice of alibi. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk.
Holy crap. Ooh, Idaho case update also, huh? Let's listen to him talk about that too.
Idaho. Next on the docket, let's talk about the University of Idaho case going on. That's right.
I know, man.
Idaho students murdered.
I low-key hope it comes here, but at the same time I don't, because it'd be a freaking madhouse.
In their home on Sunday, were stabbed multiple times by a long and wide knife in an attack that the coroner says was personal. And when he says personal, that they were stabbed to death in their bed. And it's likely that they were asleep when attacked, according to the coroner. The stabbings were targeted apparently in the chest and upper bodies, and it was apparently a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. It has to be somebody that was pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death, according to the coroner. Now, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were all murdered in the house in Moscow, Idaho, by as an yet unidentified killer who remains on the loose. Now, the killings have obviously terrified the college community, with students fleeing campus in fear for their lives. Now,
yeah, that's what I was saying
suffered defensive wounds
earlier, that I had
coroner,
heard that he
wasn't
a suspect anymore.
None of them were assaulted sexually in any way, according to the coroner. Now, police continue to hunt for this killer, but their investigation has been a little slow-paced, and it's enraged apparently not only the community, but the victim's family. Now, the murder weapon has not been found either, and there's no indication police have any suspects as of yet. Now, prosecutors said earlier this week that they have not even narrowed down whether one or multiple people committed the attack. The coroner did not elaborate why she thought the killings were personal, but she said the wounds were multiple and extensive.
Well, yeah, they're definitely personal.
That she does not believe it was a murder-suicide, and that the toxicology results for each victim would be completely irrelevant. Now, there apparently was quite a bit of blood, as you can imagine, in any stabbing case, and it was a pretty traumatic scene to find, obviously, 4 deceased college students in that residence. Maddie's boyfriend, a guy by the name of Jake Schreiger, is not thought to have been in the home when an unidentified killer obviously murdered his girlfriend. It is unclear if Jake has been interviewed by the police or where he was on Sunday when his girlfriend was killed. Now, Yana's father, Jeffrey, reveals that she died fighting for her life. He stated that the autopsy report showed that his daughter, Xana's skin showed bruises torn by the knife. Her father also questioned how the killer got inside the house, since the front door locks use a number code. He speculated that every time you go in, you have to go around the house because the number codes, they either knew that or went around and maybe found the slider door open. He added, I think midnight was the latest time that we heard from her, and she was fine. Now, a neighbor who lives in an apartment block next to the property said it was a pretty notable place for a lot of comings and goings and a lot of late night parties. The neighbor also said there's always parties at the house and the people go in and out. There usually some noise is coming from that apartment. But on this particular day, he said he didn't hear anything on Sunday morning. No screaming, no gunshots.
Yeah, you can learn a lot.
Nothing.
You can learn a lot about the killer themselves by where and how.
Police were seen collecting the contents of trash cans close to the home as part of the search for the weapon that they believe was used in the killing. Now, the trash was taken to a local garbage depot.
It's like a fingerprint in a way.
Cops were seen sifting through garbage bags. I don't know what to make of this case.
I heard that too, Scottish Queen. I heard that they knew the code for the house as well.
We also know that 2 roommates were inside but not injured, but didn't hear anything. Very weird to me.
Yeah, that is very weird.
Finally show up by about noon when somebody calls.
This is all
nobody
weird
got up
right here.
until that time. It just seems very odd to me what's going on. I'm not sure the police obviously are telling us everything in this particular case, but it certainly makes you wonder.
They did say that the roommates are being cooperative, though. So, it does sound weird, but the police, and I also want to, just say that they are being cooperative.
Wonder why the slow pace. Maybe they're just not telling us everything, but it seems like things are going a little slow on this one. Let me know what you think. I mean, in today's world with all the cameras and door ring. Next on the docket, the Delphi case. That's right. Now, Richard Allen, he's currently housed in the Westville Correctional Facility under the control of the Indiana Department of Corrections, and may, and probably should, attend the hearing in person now that he is represented by 2 court-appointed attorneys. Now, Mr. Allen is charged, obviously, with the 2 counts of felony murder for the killing of 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams, who were hiking along the bridge and its paths during a day off from school on February 13th of 2017. Now, the Carroll County officials are making plans this week to determine how to handle the anticipated rush of media and onlookers who will throng to the courthouse in downtown Delphi next Tuesday for the first public hearing into the case of the man accused of killing the girls. Prosecutor Nicholas McClellan successfully convinced Carroll Circuit Judge Benjamin Diner to seal the probable cause affidavit investigators relied upon to arrest Mr. Allen a week after searching his Delphi home for evidence linking him to the murders and the crime scene. That document was sealed during Allen's non-public initial hearing on October 28th, 2 days after his arrest at the Lafayette Post of the Indiana State Police.
100, Robin.
A substantial cause, and it would have to be for a very limited duration. Mr. Allen obviously has a right to know the nature of the charges against him. Citing the overwhelming demand the case made upon his court and fears of his own personal safety, Judge Diener recused himself from the case and was replaced by Allen County Superior Judge Fran Gull, who will arrive from Fort Wayne on November 22nd to preside over the hearing on whether to release the probable cause affidavit or keep it sealed, or direct the prosecutor to make certain redactions before it is in fact made public. Now, people familiar with Judge Gull indicate that she is inclined toward the release of the affidavit. Frankly, I don't think she has any way of not releasing it. Anyway, the Indiana State Police Superintendent, a guy by the name of Doug Carter, has said that he is not opposed to the release and that the probable cause stands on its own.
Well said as well,
and that
Jen.
the investigative quality will not be affected by its release. Wow. But yet we've had it sealed until the 22nd. Now, the most significant detail that could be released in the affidavit would be what confirms to the investigative process that led detectives back to Allen 5.5 years after he first came forward. Now, the probable cause affidavit may reveal whether Allen bears a resemblance to any image or audio captured on the cell phone of Libby German on the day of the killing. Investigators have previously alleged in the case against a Peru man that Libby communicated with him through a social media app the night before her death. Now, Keegan Klein faces 25 counts of child solicitation and obstruction.
One of these nights we're gonna hang out on BTK for an evening. I've been, ever since this guy got arrested, I've been starting to save up some videos for this BTK night that I'm gonna have. It's just crazy. Yeah, how could somebody do that?
Unrelated case to the Delphi
these
case.
People are just a different breed.
Okay. The attorneys may seek, or Judge Gull may actually issue a gag order on all personnel related to the trial. We will have to wait and see. Hopefully, she goes for release to the public. The public has a right to know. Debbie Collier, remember that case? Yeah.
Oh, this one too, huh?
Yeah, the missing mom who texts saying they're not going to let me go. It's a suicide, apparently. That's right. The death of Georgia mom, Debbie Collier, who was found naked and burned in a ravine, has been ruled a suicide.
This is crazy.
Like, what? September 10th, when she left her Athens, Georgia home en route to Clarksville, which is about 60 miles
thank you,
away.
ATS.
The next day,
unfortunately,
the
Scottish
real estate agent's body was found naked and partially burned in a wooden ravine.
Yeah, I'll send you a link, Robin, or email EvilleCJ@gmail.com, and then I'll send you a link for that. And yes, I personally think it's tied to the Kleins, both Keegan and Tony. Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying, Carly? I don't know. It's like weird shit after weird shit after weird shit. Yeah, there was a cop. There was a thing that came out that there was somebody within law enforcement that said that the search in the river with Keegan Klein was connected to the Delphi case. And the superintendent came out and admitted, unfortunately, you know, we have somebody within the organization that did that, but I can guarantee you it wasn't somebody that was basically in his small circle. It was somebody underneath of them that gave up the information. But yeah, that's what they admitted, that the search in the river for like 4 weeks or something that they were doing was definitely connected to the Delphi case. So yes, I totally think that Keegan Kline and Tony Kline, especially Keegan Kline, was involved. Said it from the get-go.
Near the Tallulah Falls with her purse and cell phone nearby. Now, Collier's death was initially feared to have been the result of a homicide.
It's like crazy case after crazy case after crazy case.
The Georgia Medical Examiner's Office has ruled Collier's death a suicide, having suffered inhalation and superheated gases,
I just don't understand this.
Hydrocodone intoxication.
I just don't understand this.
County Deputy Coroner.
Does anybody think that this is actually self-harm? I don't think I've heard anybody say that they thought it was self-harm. It just don't make any sense.
Franklin,
that's a cool shirt she's
Franklin
wearing.
Added, it's pretty evident that she.
That's a cool shirt.
From what I saw and what I considered in the case, this was a self-inflicted
Hey,
death.
Cherry.
I was relying on the results of the autopsy and the doctor at the lab to make the final determination. Now, her body was found partially burned on September 11th. Last week,
that one don't
Collier's
make no
daughter,
sense.
Amanda Bearden, stated that she believed her mother had in fact taken her own life, and she stated that her mother began to share key intimate things with her in the weeks leading up to her death, and said looking back on it, it just almost seemed like she was giving all of her things away. Bearden added that the last time she saw her mother alive, her mother had tears in her eyes, and I stated that she had never seen her like that before. Weird case. We're gonna, I guess, rely upon the medical professionals for this one.
Yeah, it upsets me too,
Interesting
Jen.
case. How suddenly it went from a
ATS
homicide investigation
says
to harmed herself. Huh. Okay.
Let me pause this for a bit. Yeah, he even agrees. I think they screwed up the crime scene and evidence so they couldn't get an arrest or conviction. They just blowed it. Yeah. Ellie had their sources. That's a great point, ATS. Flat on bro, choose if you can't. Whoa. Hey, Cherry. Yeah, too many questions with this case, Robin. Again, Robin, thank you for hopping in. I appreciate you hopping in. She was leaving some comments on the videos. If you haven't met Robin yet, please say hi. Jen K, she used to be We're All Mad Here. She changed her name to Jen K now, so if you didn't know the switch, that's who that is. I don't understand how anyone could say this. I know, exactly. It's like what ATS said right here, I think is exactly, and I think that's why they were kind of laughing at the son and didn't want to talk to him, because they probably didn't want to admit that they effed it up. Like, that's an amazing point, ATS. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. All right. Is there any other cases that have updates? Michael Vaughn, any other updates with any other cases? If not, let's be done with crime for the week. Let's hop on to some weird stuff. Obviously, her daughter is going to agree. It gets her out of shit. She was also definitely involved. What do you think the daughter did, Scottish Queen? What do you think? If she was? And I think she was involved too, because she's sketch as fuck. But what do you think she do you think there's a specific thing she was doing or was involved in? Thanks for the tip. I'll do it out. And remember, Jeffrey filed some complaint on the sheriff. Yeah. Like, he just was like nonchalant, laughing. I think he even told somebody that he was like even considering hanging up on him because he was tired of him calling. Elizabeth Holmes, yeah, 11.5 years today. Karma's a bitch, but she should have got more. But I don't, that's just my opinion, my concept. The neighbors said they heard arguing the night before. That is correct. 11 years, 3 months in prison. Thank you, Carly, for the exact time. ATS News, I said something similar last night. We're always thinking the same. It's freaky. All right. I'm going to open up the panel here real quick so anybody can join if you'd like to. Thanks for hopping through that with me. We're going to be talking about the moon landing being fake or real tomorrow night. We're going to talk about some haunting stuff. But we're really going to get into this moon landing being fake or real. And then we're going to watch some of this Artemis rocket stuff. They do have new stuff. I actually got new videos tonight we can check out if you guys want to see them. They got a spacewalk that they got on video. Another camera angle of the launch. Just a couple cool videos about the Artemis rocket mission, moon mission. This right here, I don't know what this is. It says, like, don't watch alone or something.
To my current subscribers, if you haven't subscribed, please do, and recommend to your friends and family.
And
Enjoy
here's the
this
link for the
Thanksgiving
video.
weekend and many more.
Aw, thank you, Mr. Feardom TV. Footsteps. That's what I need. I need footsteps when my stream starts.
If you're a fan of horror and suspense,
What's up? Hello? Are you there? I can barely hear you, man.
Oh,
Are you
really?
on speaker or something? Yeah, are you on speaker?
Well, it's just the mic on the phone. The music's kind of loud, though. That could be it. I wasn't saying anything, though, just to throw that out there. I was actually quiet because you had a video playing and I didn't want to interrupt it. You said footsteps you need, right?
Yeah, did you hear the beginning of that video? It's like, kuh.
Yeah, I'm going to email you those files right now.
Sounded creepy. Oh, cool, man. Are you sick, man? Did you get what I got? Or what I had?
No.
Because I'm a lot better today.
I'm actually just relaxed. I was trying to sleep for like 2 hours. I was trying to take a nap, and I logged out of work early, and I'm like, I'm gonna nap and then wake up, work on my video, get on the live, and never fell asleep. Scottish Queen kept sending me all these news, and I was like,
Scottish Queen? What are you doing to the poor man?
How was a guy
Not let him
supposed to
take a
sleep?
nap?
How's a guy
Jeez.
supposed to sleep receiving all those nudes?
Was it the plot of grass?
No, well,
make you a lord.
Kind of. It's hard to explain the way she was like laying down on the ground and the umbrella
With the sheep?
with
the sheep and the
umbrella and the
goat?
sheep around. Very promiscuous.
In the grass? In the flatlands? Yeah.
Dude, she even dressed up as a naked sniper, and I think it was supposed to be a grassy knoll situation. But I appreciate it. I saved them all, just so you know.
Oh my gosh. Oh shit. A grassy knoll. Oh hell no. Yeah, we need to get into some conspiracy JFK stuff some night too. All right, so I made a Facebook. Well, no, I didn't make it. Carly made it. I'm just here to help out, do whatever. I don't really know. No comment. But no, let me put that up there though. So that way, whenever we get these ideas and stuff, now I don't know how to use this shit because I'm totally new to all this shit. So I don't know how to use it, but now we can have a list for show ideas and stuff. So if anybody has an idea for a topic, whether it's a case, something serious, something funny, something wild, something, you know, off topic, whatever, it'll be really cool to actually just kind of be able to pick out of that. And even for like nights like this where it's just a whatever kind of night, you know, it'd be nice just to be able to pick shit out of it like that. Is there something you want to look up, man?
Dude,
I was just gonna look up some ghost videos and shit, you know, like don't watch alone.
I have one topic that'll just monopolize your entire channel. The Mandela effect.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a long one.
Once you go down that rabbit hole, you'll never get
That's
out
a
of it.
long one. Yeah. Speaking of yeah, those are some crazy videos, man, because you watch it and you're like, wait a minute. I remembered it like this, but this is how it was. What? Yeah. Weird ass shit. Now I was just gonna check out some ghost videos or something. Maybe look up some Artemis rocket stuff, or just talk about whatever. Have to go see you soon. Well, I thank you for hopping in, Robin. It was nice to see you hop in. Thanks for all the comments as well. I do love my JFK stuff. We're going to cosplay as, oh my gosh. The Berenstain Bears. The Berenstain Bears. So you're going to be JFK in cosplay? Uh-oh, he's quiet. He must be looking at pics again.
I am. This one video.
Scottish, stop. We're streaming.
Wow. No, like, it's not just a Mandela effect that affects what you perceive. Like, let's say Folgers used to be spelled Foldgers, but now it's Folgers. That's one section of the Mandela effect. There was a woman who, she was in Colombia, and she was in a chat, and in the chat she said, I'm not sure if anybody else is experiencing this. Now this was like 6 months after CERN first, activated their Hadron Collider, and she said, I woke up in another life that's not the life I went to sleep in. So she tells her story that she woke up and she looked around her apartment and things seemed weird. Like curtains that she didn't have up are now up. Her blankets were different than the bedding that she went to sleep with. Her pajamas were not the pajamas that she wore that night, but another night. So she was like kind of freaked out and she felt off. So she gets up, goes in the bathroom, brushes her teeth. She gets ready, gets dressed, and runs out the door, and she can't find her car. And she's like, wait a minute, I stopped parking over there because it's in a spot she stopped parking at after she broke up with her ex-boyfriend. We're going to say his name is Jose. So after she broke up with Jose, she started parking in a different spot so he didn't vandalize her car or know when she was home. So she ends up getting in her car. She goes to her coffee shop, same shitty coffee, same shitty price. She goes to work and somebody's in her office. The door has a different name. And she's like, hello? And they're like, hi, can I help you? And this is all in Spanish, so it was translated, or Portuguese or something. And she's like, who are you? And he says who he is, and then he gives her job title as his. And she's like, what? So she quickly goes onto the internet, types in her work email and everything, and all the logins and everything still worked. And she saw that she was in a different department that she would never have been in. So she goes there and she says she has to leave because she's sick. So she goes home and she's freaking out, or she does on her way home, she's freaking out and she's like, I got to stop and talk to my boyfriend. So she goes to the apartment building, but she can't get in. Somebody else opens the door and she's like, yeah, I'm here to see my boyfriend. And, you know, he lives in this apartment. They're like, there's no guy that lives in that apartment. And she's like, yeah, he lives there with his son. And they're like, we've never heard of him before. The guy ceased to exist. The guy didn't exist. She tried to find him, tried to call his phone. It went, you know how it goes, beep, beep, beep. The number you have dialed is not in service.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out. So she calls a doctor and she's like, I have an emergency. I need to come in and see you. And she starts explaining it to the doctor. And he's like, okay, well, you know, I'll prescribe you some meds. So she goes home and then she realizes something. If her new boyfriend doesn't exist and her job that she's worked at for like 10 years or 12 years is not her job, she opens up the place that her ex-boyfriend used to keep all his stuff, and all of his stuff is in there. They never broke up. They were still together. And she's like, has anybody else woken up in a life that's not your life?
Huh.
But, you know, that slowly faded away because once that occurred, they talked about the man from... Oh my God, dude, it's my favorite story on the planet. The man from Torad. So the man from Torad story came up. It was like in the 1950s or something. This guy flies into Japan, gets off the plane, walks up to customs and hands over his passport. And he looks at it and he sees the guy sees stampings for Japan. He's been there before. And he's like, are you here for business or pleasure? He's like, business. And he looks at the passport and says, so what country are you from? And I'm from Torad. And the man spoke really good Japanese, proving that, you know, he's a businessman that travels back and forth. And the guy's like, Torad, where is that? And he's like, Torad, it's been around for 1,000 years. And he tries to explain it to him. So the guy's getting a little frustrated. And the guy says, hold on, let me get my supervisor. So the supervisor listens to him and he tells him the story that he flies in all the time. He does business there all the time. So he's like, I've never heard of Torad. If I got a map, can I show it to you? Can you show it to me? And he's like, yes. So they put out a map and the guy goes to point at it and he's like, wait, what is this? Is this a joke? Right here is where Torad is, but this is a totally different place. And he's like, no, that country's been there the whole time. And he's like, no. So they're like, okay, look, we'll try to sort this out. We're going to put you in a hotel room. And they specify it in a lot of the stories, but it was in an upper part of the hotel and they had guards outside the door. So there's no way he could escape. You know, you would have to go out the front door. The next morning they go to get the guy. And when they open the door, the whole room looks like it was never even touched or slept in. And the guy's gone. Now, a follow-up to that story was one of the he was so mad that he had a heart attack and they gave him glycerin. And you know how you recover from glycerin? He's like, what is that medicine you gave me? And they're like, glycerin. Like, I've never heard of that before. I've had this heart problem. I've been scared that it was going to plague me for the rest of my life and I will die. And they're like, dude, glycerin's been around for a while, bro. And he's like, we don't have that in Torrid. And they're like, what? That's not possible. So the follow-up story to him disappearing completely and nobody ever seeing him again was one of the local clinics. Somebody broke into it that evening and stole a bunch of bottles of glycerin, and the guy was never heard from again.
Oh shit! Where did this take place?
In Japan.
Japan? Huh.
Yeah, and the funny part was until that woman's story came out, nobody even heard of the story. They just started doing searches for weird circumstances that happened everywhere, and somebody found the story of the man from Torrid in a paper in Japan.
The man from Torrid. Torrid, that sounds so familiar for some reason.
So all of these stories, like the Mandela effect and everything, it is theorized that because CERN is trying to find other dimensions and travel through space and time, et cetera, they've actually broken the space-time continuum and timelines and dimensions, and some dimensions are leaking into ours, which is why the Berenstein Bears is now the Berenstain Bears. Why Star Wars in a different dimension is leaked into here, changing the words that, you know, are in the movie.
Yeah, I just seen a bunch of the YouTube videos that would pop up showing all the different ones that people put together. Different, you know, how like logo, you thought it was this way, but really it's this way, you know, the forward logo, you know, just all sorts of different things. It just, you sit back and you're like, dang.
Yeah, small nuances and changes, things you don't notice. It's like the butterfly effect. Like the big question.
Great movie. Great movie.
The ethical question is, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you? Now, if you said no, I wouldn't because it would alter history, you've already altered history. So then you say, okay, fine, I would. And, you know, a new dictator would arise who would then take over the world and everybody would be German, under a German dictatorship. Then if you say, then they ask you, would you go back and kill baby Hitler? And you say, no, I wouldn't. And they're like, or you would say, yes, I killed Hitler as a baby. And the ethical statement would be, oh, how horrible. You are such an evil person. You'd kill a baby who didn't commit any crimes yet. And then you say, fine, I wouldn't kill him. Well, then he grows up and kills a whole bunch of people and it's your fault. Fine, maybe I teach him how to not kill people. So you teach him and guide him and kidnap him, you're a monster. So ethics and morals come into play when it comes to time travel, alteration of history.
The Butterfly Effect is a perfect movie for that. Really,
dude, I love that movie.
I love it. And yeah, just with each thing it's more and more and more and more, and eventually you just go fucking mad. Like it was a great movie. I wouldn't mind watch. See, I can do this on Twitch where I can have watch parties where I can play anything on Amazon Prime, and it can be like a movie night stuff where nobody's getting blocked and shut down and any of that. I don't know how to do it. I'll have to figure it out, but I know I can do it.
You know what?
And then maybe I could stream that to Twitch. Huh?
Are you doing ghosts right now?
No. I mean, I got some of these videos. I was just playing in the background while we were talking.
So I'm going to send you a link to a video if I can find it.
Let's see, teaching. Dexter, sorry. Yeah, Scottish Queen. Yeah, like whatever movie or anything's on Amazon Prime, I can have a watch party on my Twitch, and we can all hang out, watch movies and shows and stuff together, and not have to worry about getting blocked from copyrights and all that. I just don't know how to do it. And I think if I streamed it to YouTube as well, it'd probably get shut down on YouTube side. But with Twitch and Amazon, they're linked up together, so they give you that option to, it's called a watch party. You can all hang out and basically do what we're doing now. I can sit there and talk, and everybody can hang out and chat. So I don't get on Amazon Prime that much, though. Honestly. I'm on YouTube all the time. I even canceled Netflix. I'm like, I don't even watch it anymore. But I do have Prime, Disney, Hulu.
So I am muting myself as I look for the video because I'm trying to find one where you might be able to play it like in long intervals without getting striked. But to be honest, since all these new movies came out and all these bullshit stories about Ed and Lorraine Warren, it's hard to find the original videos. Because when I say bullshit stories, they're not using the actual Ed and Lorraine Warren, they're using the people that portrayed them in the movies. So it's not really on point unless you see Ed and Lorraine Warren themselves doing this shit. But the video I'll send to you is going to show where they're talking to the spirit and shit happens that you can clearly see.
All
So
right.
I'll be a second.
Oh, you're good. In the meantime, I'm going to play this Joe Rogan motivational speech because I don't know. I just listened to this a long ass time ago, and I finally came across it recently. So I kind of want to play a little bit of that too. I'll look for that link though. Just let me know when you send it.
So for a few months, I was staying with my grandmother who was on death's door she lived like a year or so after I moved out. And she wasn't really aware of me anymore. She was not quite there anymore. And my grandfather, who was struggling to take care of her and just seemed sad. And I remember thinking, man, this life is temporary. Like this experience that I'm experiencing right now as a 24-year-old man, like this is not going to last. Like this is the prime of my youth. And it like hardened my ideas that like, you got to get going. This is going to happen to you too. It's going to happen to all of us. And you think that you're this static thing, like you stay in this same exact state. It's not true. It's an illusion. All those people that you see that are old people that are walking down the street with their backs hunched over, that you're going to reach that age someday. It's going to happen. And if you don't pay attention and it all goes wrong, you could wind up looking like that guy. You could wind up thinking and behaving like that guy. It is a slow ebbing of the life force of the body it's gonna drain you. So get your fun out, get your life out, just live. You got to live. It's fucking coming, and you got to remember, because if you don't remember, you're gonna sleep in. If you don't remember, you're not gonna get anything done. If you don't remember, you're not gonna have the same focus and determination that you would have with the understanding this is a temporary experience. Over time, I've learned that these people, you're not going to fix them. I used to want to fix them when I was young. I used to want to go, hey man, I see what you're doing. Like, dude, don't do that anymore. Listen, just do this and stop doing that and start doing this. And if you just work towards this, you could be successful. And then a week later, the guy's doing the same shit. You're like, okay, right. I'm wasting a significant amount of my energy on someone who doesn't want to waste any of their energy on themselves. And so managing the community and the tribe that you're in, making sure that you're a good member of that tribe, that you're doing your part. When you're around happy, inspirational people that are successful, it makes you feel better and you get inspired. And if you act on that inspiration, your life will be more fulfilled. And it's not just inspirational in terms of financial success, but in terms of doing difficult things, whether it's running 100 miles, it doesn't pay you a god thing other than the wealth of the knowledge that you can push yourself to such an extreme, or anything else, whether it's someone who becomes really good at playing chess or someone who's really good at martial arts or whatever it is. There's a great feeling in these overcoming these difficult things. I think a lot of what happiness is a management issue, and decisions that you're making right now, like you could be in a state of mind right now, but you can make some decisions to adjust that, and over the next couple hours you'll get to a much better place. It's good to treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself. It's like a fucking golden, much better place. It's good to treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself. It's like a fucking golden rule, and there's a reason for it. And that reason is that we're connected in some strange way that we don't totally understand. And unless you are good to other people,
I'm just going to let this whole thing play no matter what happens to this video.
Loving, you're not going to fucking enjoy this life. You're just not. You're going to be problems everywhere you go. You're going to have problems everywhere you go. You got to figure out a way to enjoy this life. It's not because of anybody that may or may not have ever existed. It's because that's how you fit in better in the world. That's how you stay positive. And it doesn't have to be some shit that was written 5,000 years ago on fucking animal skins. That doesn't have to be the golden rule because it's old. That's dumb. We need to figure out, like, now, today, what is, the best way to live your life? What is there's got to be ways where you can be putting forward the most positive energy. I mean, we know objectively what's causing pollution. We know objectively what's causing birth defects and we're taking in too much chemicals and not enough vitamins. We know objectively all this stuff. We know how to organize our world, and yet we don't do it. We know how to organize our health, and yet very few people do it. We know all these things. The right path to, like, being
like a happy, healthy person is to do all the shit that we already know you're supposed to do. Take care of your body, take care of your health, take care of your mind, your stress, meditate, be kind to people. We all know that. I mean, you ask anybody, they know how to get by and to be the most evolved version of you that you can be. I mean, it's not like a magical checklist. If you talk to people about it, you said, okay, here, you got a person, you want to improve them. What are the things you're going to do to them? Okay, well, if I was a life coach, the first thing I would say is this guy's got to get on a diet that makes him healthy. I don't mean a diet just to lose weight. I mean just healthy foods in your body, many, many vegetables. Start working out your body and get a better sense of like how this machine feels when it's moving, it's flowing better, there's less tension in it, your mind feels like relaxed and you enjoy every single moment of the day better. Step one, everybody knows that step, right? What's step two? Be cool to people. Be nice to as many people as you can. Smile at as many people as you can. Have them smile back at you. Tip well when you go to restaurants. Just do the most you can. Be as nice as you can and just still manage to not have people walk all over you. Just get through this life as nice as you can. Do what you want to do with your life, right? Don't go be doing something you don't enjoy. Don't do something don't get locked into, a car that you can't afford and doing something crazy because you need the money. Don't do that. Do what you want to do. Do what the fuck is it that you really want to do? Because if someone else is doing it, you can do it, I mean, everybody makes their own path through this world, but a lot of people don't follow the path that they really feel pulled to. Just for whatever reason, they got negative programming. When they were kids, someone told them they couldn't do it, or told them to take the shortcut, or take the short route. That's a sad thing, man. When you talk to dudes, especially like talented dudes, and they don't follow up with what they want to do. It sounds like really hippie, but true happiness comes from making other people happy. True happiness comes from being around happy people and enjoying each other's company. That's really hard for people to wrap their heads around because they always associate true happiness. No, true happiness is with like titles, or numbers, or objects that you possess. You're not concerned about being nice to people. You're not concerned about having a positive impact on people. You're more concerned with making ones and zeros. But it really truly is how the human race interacts with each other. You really have to be nice to other people to be happy. You have to. If you're not, you won't be happy. And, we all make mistakes and we all find ourselves in positions of frustration, and we've all acted out and yelled at our dog when maybe we shouldn't have. And, there's pressures in this life. But I think it's really important to recognize what those truly are, and to understand that at the end of it, we can alleviate a lot of how we deal with in this life if we really treated people the way we would treat them, as if they were ourselves living another life. And This includes the way you communicate with people, the friendships that you have, and making sure your friends know that you love them. They drive you, they change your opinions, they challenge you, they show compassion, you open up to each other. I mean, this is everything in this life, is community. One of the things that's true is how much people enjoy being around you. That makes your life more enjoyable. And people don't think of it that way. They oftentimes think, I want to be the one that's enjoying life, like especially selfish people. If people enjoy being around you, you'll enjoy everything more. The solo effort of going through life, a narcissistic perspective, one of the major problems with that is there's no one to share it with, because you're all out for yourself. Even if you get there, you're going to be filled with sadness and despair. It's not what you want. What you want is to be happy, right? Well, I know you think that you have to be all about yourself to be happy, but in fact, that is a way to ensure unhappiness regardless of success. That's right. What I'm saying is the way you are with your family and your friends and your loved ones and the people you communicate with, get better at that, because we need each other. Love is the most important thing. And that sounds so cliche, but without love, it's all useless.
And I want to say that for anybody that's watching this that personally knows me, I hope if you watch that, you understand my level of thinking, where I'm coming from, and why I do the things that I do. All right, buddy. I just had to play that real quick. All right, now we're gonna go. Yeah, man. It's just something that'll move you. So let's go to your video. What's this? Provokes a demon, huh?
So just to throw this out there, not many people really followed Ed and Lorraine throughout their entire history. So I literally followed everything there was about them for the longest time. This video is only part of a very long investigation that they performed. You remember when we were talking about the hauntings in Connecticut and the haunting in Georgia?
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
this
good
is the
stuff.
family. This is the actual family that the entity followed around from location to location.
Ooh, really?
So what you're going to
Nice.
see here is the after effect. So previous to this, which you're not going to see because I can't find it, literally because of all the bullshit movies that came out, you can't find any of the stuff unless you dig, and it took me a while to find this. So prior to this, they showed up to the house and they were having a discussion in the kitchen with the whole family, and they blurred out their faces. So you're not going to find a video without the faces blurred. It was intentionally done. The original video is locked up, and nobody really has access to it because they don't want their identities known. So as they're sitting there, the presence starts making itself known right away. You hear knocking all around the room, and they're like, okay, so do you have a problem with this family? And it would knock twice for no. And then they would say, okay, do you have a problem with the father? Knock twice. The child? Knock twice.
Ooh.
This child? Knock twice. And then the mother?
Ooh.
Bang.
Ooh.
And they were like, what the fuck? And she's like, why do they have a problem with me? So you have a problem with the mom? Bang. Bang.
Ooh.
Bang. And it was coming from every wall, every window.
Really?
And then after they got done talking to the spirit, they walked out of the room, and then you could play this video. This is what happened.
Oh, so we're not going to see what you were just saying then, huh? This is after?
When I do,
okay.
I do, I'll send you all the links.
Oh my
actually,
God.
I have videos that are mine. Like, I have a collection of paranormal, witchcraft, every book you could think of for every experience there is. Plus, I have DVDs galore. So I'll make a whole bunch of clips if I can, and I'll share with you. Like, I'll send them to you. We'll figure out the best way to send you all these clips so that you can have them and be like, holy shit yourself. But yeah, I think I'm one of the people that have one of the largest collections of UFO, paranormal, cryptid, serial killers, cipher books, Ouija books. I got
you
Ouija
could make
boards,
a
Ouija
video
books.
on your own. You could make a video with all the clips on your own channel, and then we can play it from your channel.
I could. I'm just.
Would you get in trouble?
Honestly, no. It's a factor that after I did a tremendous amount of research on all of it, I realized like some realities about Ed and Lorraine Warren, and I don't want to tarnish their history, so I don't want to talk about it. I just, have my own opinion, so I stand fast. But
all right, I got you.
This video, like I said, you're going to hear Ed talking. So it's Ed Warren who's doing this.
Okay.
In the name of Jesus Christ and the blood of Christ, I command you to reveal your identity. Give me some sign. Is that you moving something? Give me some sign that you're here.
That chair moved.
Good. Do you want this family
That
to
one.
stay here in this house? I command you in the name of Jesus Christ to reveal your identity.
You hear the knock?
Yeah, I heard a knock. I didn't see anything move. You have a spiritual board?
In the name of Jesus Christ and the blood of Christ, I command you to reveal your identity in some way.
Those comments are going to block what happens.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to reveal your identity.
Oh! Dang.
Now,
The
that's
whole
not
table
all that
moved.
happens. Shortly after
Lorraine
this,
Warren.
the child sits down to do her homework at the table. So suddenly her chair gets dragged backwards away from her work. And she's like, Mom. So the mom walks behind her, pushes the seat up to the table, puts her foot on the bottom of it, and she pushes down with her hands, and she's holding it in place. And suddenly you see the chair go, forces its way back, pushing the mom backwards. She pushes the chair back in, and every time the girl tries to write, it gets pushed back further. So, Ed and Lorraine Warren, this family moved to like 7 houses. And every time they moved, it followed them. And the Lifetime actually made a movie about it. But that movie, it was a movie of a family who also lived in one of the houses. And that family, the father was making decent money, and they finally found a house that was extremely cheap, but it needed to be fully repaired. And they moved in. So the Warrens didn't get a chance to go help that other family because of this family's video. So they spent so much time with this family trying to help them that people started to say it was fake, that Ed and Lorraine Warren were making this stuff up so that they can get more famous. But they have video footage of weird shit happening through that house.
I've seen her. Do you remember the show maybe 15 years ago called Paranormal State? About,
yeah, I have it.
Yeah, she was on those episodes a lot. I used to watch that show about them the Penn State students that had that. Yeah, that was a really good show, and she was on that a lot. I remember her.
I have 5 seasons of that show.
It's a good show.
When I lived in Philadelphia, they were doing it.
Yeah, very good show. It's called The Paranormal State. If other people in chat haven't heard about it, look it up. It's a good watch. Very cool.
There's another show called My True Ghost Story or something. It's what my video, if you want to, you could play my video about the Maryland ghost. That's where I saw it after I heard about the story. So I didn't even know the show existed. Season 2 had just started, but I had just read in a paper, which is why my video at the end, there's a disclaimer stating that the story she tells in My True Ghost Story, it slightly differs. And it's easier to explain it. So when I read the story, it was a woman who was escaping a DV relationship, and she was very low on cash, and that's why she couldn't move, right? But the story that she tells, I'll stop so you could play it with volume.
Oh, no, go ahead, man.
I'm not
no,
striking
you can talk.
you.
No, you can talk, man.
The story I read the story she tells, her and somebody else moves in, but then through the rest of the episode, she's saying, well, I moved in and then I had to leave. Well, where's the other person that you supposedly moved in with? So I think she changed the story for the show so that the DV relationship didn't come up. But yeah, if you rewind this and just play it, I tell the whole story right through this, and it's only like a few minutes long, I think, or whatever.
All right. Yeah, just 1 second here.
Let's set the scene. You're so excited. You're moving into a new place. But the moment you get there and walk through that door, you get this ominous feeling. Could it be first day jitters? Odd little things like weird sounds, cabinets opening and wine glasses chiming together get your attention. Could it be the house settling? A draft, maybe rodents? It all seems trivial. One night while watching TV, your peripherals see the coffee maker's LED dim like somebody walked by it. Or was it a power surge? You start experiencing countless restless nights. You begin struggling with work. You experience constant fatigue. You feel like someone or something is always watching, always around you. You finally decide it's time to record yourself while you sleep. After a month or so, you finally find time to watch all of your recordings. What you see terrifies you to the bone. Drop that beat. Yo, sup everybody, Allegedly here. First thing I want to mention, it is October, Halloween and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Oh,
I
you can
dropped
fast
2
forward
links
this
for everyone to check out right here. This is my first video drop. Please hit that like and subscribe.
The rest of the
100%
video
free
is
and
going
helps
to
the
be
channel.
what she recorded, just so everybody knows.
Go ahead and say that again, because the video
So the
audio is
rest of
pretty loud.
this, the rest of it is the actual story, and there's going to be a picture of the house, which is the actual house. There's going to be a picture of the girl, actual person it happened to, and then her telling of the story as we get to the actual video footage of the ghost.
And I think this is where you wanted me to skip to here.
At an unknown location in Pasadena, Maryland, during the year 2011, a woman named Marcy moved into a new home. The information at the time was she was escaping a DV relationship. She was lucky enough to find a location within her price range and readily available. After moving in, she began hearing small noises and sounds. She just blew it off. Cupboard doors opening on their own, hanging wine glasses gently clinking together. She wrote it off as rodents or an overactive imagination. One night while watching TV, her peripherals saw the coffee maker's LED light dim out and back on, like someone walked past it. Being there alone, this terrified her to the bone. She would say as she slept, she felt like she was being touched, like somebody was grabbing her feet. She felt like she was always being watched and that she was never really alone. This is when she began recording herself sleep. After a month or so, she finally had time to review her tapes. What she saw made her grab the tape, pack a bag, and head to her brother's for the next few days. This is what she discovered. Hey guys, just dropping in one more time before the end of this video. Reminder.
I always thought about recording when I'm sleeping too. But my
Let me tell
camcorder
you,
only lasts like 2 hours. So it didn't work.
with the stuff I have set up, whenever I record, nothing's happening. When I don't record, I'm waking up in a cold sweat. I keep feeling like somebody's in the apartment, weird shit. So I'll start recording again and I sleep like a baby. It's weird.
Video 1. What I want you to do is keep watching this video and see if you notice something on the left-hand side of the screen moving. This is actual footage of Marcy sleeping in bed. So this is really what occurred while she was sleeping. Kind of hard to miss, huh? Yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, nope, nope, nope. If you recall, I did mention that she had sleepless nights. So when things like this would occur, she would wake up, but she wouldn't see or feel anything. But you can tell she's still awake. And just to throw this out there, while this next occurrence happened, she was still awake and felt nothing.
That's funny, Scottish. And thank you, ATS.
Now I know it's hard to see here because the video is 80s. Do you see it?
It's like a little kid jumping into bed, and then you can see the covers kind of lift up after that.
Well, what I do is zoom in towards the next portion so you can see a very clear picture. But right now it's moving into phase 2 of what happened to her, and just watch her blankets.
Video 2. So I'm going to try to give you an idea of what's happening. What you're seeing in this video looks like an invisible entity that's causing compressions on the blanket in multiple spots. Now, in a moment, I'm going to zoom in on the right-hand side where the final compression took place, and you're going to see something, not sure what, left the bed after the final compression, and you could see it right here. This final portion of playthrough that you're going to see is just an uninterrupted clip from the moment the compressions begin till it ends. So this way you can see it yourself and judge whatever. And finally, just to recap on the first video, I have slowed down some of the clips so that you can see it extremely clearly. And I hope that you can see it. All right, everybody, that just about wraps it up. I hope that you enjoyed the video, man. And just so you know, all that footage.
So the weird thing that happened, and it was so strange, I was laying in bed in Philly, and I had fallen asleep, and suddenly I felt something jump on my legs, like boom, boom, jumped across my bed. I wake up, and there's nothing there, right? So I didn't even see this video at first. I had actually gone to Barnes and Nobles to have coffee and their quiche, because they have phenomenal quiche, and it's a 3-story high Barnes and Nobles. So I went there, and that's when I discovered this story. I read a newspaper article, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like 2 days ago, I felt something jump across my bed, and it felt like that. And I didn't even see part 2 until they released the show episode. So I only knew about the monkey baby jumping on her, and that's what they called it, the Maryland monkey baby, because it looks like when you freeze frame it, it looks like a deformed monkey faced child. And the investigators that went to the home, they got EVPs. Supposedly, I didn't hear shit. When you put words on the screen and then you hear, it sounds exactly like the word you're reading. So I made sure I blocked the screen, and I listened, and I'm like, it just sounds like somebody crinkled up bag, and they're like, it said Roberta Klein did this and that, and I'm like, wait, what? I didn't hear that. But they did set up the cameras for the second footage, and they caught it, the thing jumping across her feet.
Yeah, that I did see it kind of come out there too. But and then in the very beginning of your video, is that the second video that played first then? Because I remember seeing the covers on the bottom right of the bed moving.
So
before we got into the story,
when I said she woke up, so she would be laying in bed during this time, and the way she described it in an outside interview, it was with a newspaper, that she felt a presence as soon as she would start to doze off, and it would wake her up, which is when you see her feet move and her head sit up and her arm, like, you know how babies hold their arms in the air, and when they fall asleep, their arm falls. Well, she said she started doing that because it gave her comfort. So when you see the blanket moving before the thing jumps at her head, she's actually shifting and moving, and her leg is like she was doing a leg split. But the private investigator, or not the paranormal investigator, said that there was somebody else in bed with her. There wasn't. That was her sprawled across the whole bed. So her left arm was curled up under her chin and face, Her right arm was all the way across the bed, and her legs were split, and they were in a scissor fashion, but her right leg was bent. So when you see the bed moving a little bit in the first video, that's her feet kicking up the blanket, which is why when they recorded the next video and they saw the compressions going down, they were like, oh shit, something just walked across the bed. And then when you watch the video closely, you can see the monkey figure jump off the right side. So there's nobody else in bed with her. So her whole story of we were in bed, that was bogus. I think it was just because she didn't want her ex to, put two and two together and be like, oh, now I know where that bitch lives. You know what I mean? So she gave out the My True Ghost story. I think she altered it, but made a lot of mistakes during that because of the simple fact that she was trying to not alert her ex, who was the abusive guy, that she's telling the story and where she lived. Because as you saw, the house was in there. And plus that place in Maryland, those houses are few and far between. So if you're a psycho ex searching for a girl and you know what the house looks like, you could drive down the road and be like, the road was right there. All I have to do is drive down this road and I'll find her house. But yeah, it was her kicking up and moving her hand when the blankets would move. But you would see the monkey ghost, as she was dozing off, jump towards her head and it would fall back off the bed. So a lot of people were speculating that it was trying to keep her awake, because when spirits attack people, they keep you from sleeping to weaken you, because the more tired you are, the less resistant you are to, interaction with spirits, which is why like people possessed, they never get sleep. As soon as they fall asleep, they wake up screaming. If they're trying to sleep at somebody else's house, they'll wake up screaming. It won't let them sleep to weaken their mind, weaken their body, and weaken like their entire spirit.
Yeah, it's a very cool video, man. Nice production.
I will be right back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the production, man. Really good.
I mean, unfortunately, it was my first go, so the call to action portions were a little bit longer than I wanted them to be, but I had to keep talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month because not many people were spitting that out during October.
Get the awareness out, Who cares if you take a minute? It's whatever.
Well, and it's funny because a few people that I know were like, dude, stop kissing up to all the women. And I'm like, dude, guys get breast cancer too. Are you like not aware that cancer is not just specifically for women?
Yeah, cancer is cancer, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I have to go
AFK
for one sec. I'll be right back.
Oh, you could. Yeah. Open panel too if anybody wants to join. What's up, Pumpkin Zombie? If you want to watch the video that he's talking about, go ahead and click on the link real quick, save it to a watch later, and then hop back in if you want to. Really good video. It's only about 8 minutes. We went through it a couple times, but go ahead and click that link and you can save it to your watch later and then hop back in. Very good watch. Good production too. All right, so I'm going to switch to this Lorraine Warren video here and see what she says.
Hello, Lorraine. Hello. It's lovely to meet you. Questions about how people can help themselves at home, right? If someone's looking at an old house, what should they look out for?
Walk through the home, see what vibrations you feel. Do you feel safe? Do you feel there's darkness? Do you feel scared? If you do, turn around and leave.
Trust your instinct.
Yes, trust your instincts.
That would be the same for hotel rooms, right? Because people always get, a little creeped out in a hotel room. It's not their home.
They're wearing the same shirt. What the hell?
Something in the hallway going into my
Yeah, it's a good watch.
It's a Hamburglar kind of night.
People? We distrust hotel rooms all the time.
Like,
all the time. There's a
did they plan that?
Taiwan. I think it's the Hyatt or the Hilton. They've got giant talismans down the sides of the lobby, and they try to disguise it as art because they frame it up, right? But But the Chinese people know better.
Yeah.
You walk
Yeah,
in, you're
yeah.
like, oh,
They got
dear.
more common sense.
Are there some places that are more prone to spirit activity? For example, like hospitals.
Older buildings. In most any situation, there is some haunting phenomena. It doesn't mean that it's negative. You know, it could be a human spirit that would be doing it, but almost everyone. Hospitals, not really, you know, no, not as, because they're not home. And then most people, of course, are naturally are in pain and things like that. But that's all being taken care of by them. But we never had a haunting really in that way, or even in a mental institution.
Because people think so, right? You think hospitals and mental institutions.
Yes, but no, not really.
Well, how would one protect oneself at home
From
evil spirit activity?
your beliefs in God. You know, whatever your beliefs in. Like in my case, I'm Catholic. You know, I was saying, in the name of Jesus Christ, please protect me when I go in on this case.
Do people come up to you and when they recognize you, do they just bombard you with questions like, "Oh, can you read my aura? Is there anything following me?" You know, are they paranoid?
How do you know that? How do you know that? Yes,
Wow.
very so.
She's got a lot of spunk to her.
Very much so, honey.
But what percentage of the time is there actually something?
Right on, you go.
Versus them being paranoid about
No, they're just curious. They're curious, but no, you don't have that many people that, you know, coming up to you.
Speaking of Call of Duty, I haven't checked out Warzone 2. Has anybody played that? What do they think?
There's something around me. Is there something? Just like a woman last night, she came and she said, I think I feel things around me. And I said, feel things around you? And she had this little dog she was carrying. And I said, why? Is that something that scares you? Yes, it really does scare me. And I said, well, why don't you call on God? Because I don't believe in him.
Okay. So what do you say to that, though?
I said, I think you ought to examine your conscience and think a little stronger about a supreme being. Call him what you want, but he's a supreme being.
Mm-hmm. I once had the last question. I once had a handprint, a mysterious handprint appear on my arm. You could clearly see 4 fingers and a thumb. It turned really purple. It didn't hurt when I touched it, and then it disappeared in about 2 days. And a medium friend of mine said that I had 7 dead teenagers followed me back from a beach party that I was at, and that they followed me home. When you hear something like that, when do you believe? When, you know, how do you discern when to believe a medium? And
when if somebody tells you something like that, and you don't want to really push it away and say that couldn't be, you would say, in God's name, help me and protect me. Do that.
Thank you so much. And hey, twinsies!
Yes, I know.
What the fuck's going on in chat? Jeez, I take my eye off of it for a second. Oh my god. I'm sitting here sucked into this video. I take my eye off chat for a second. Oh man. Whew. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I remember her being on that Paranormal State all the time. I missed that show. That's a good show.
Yeah, it was a fun watch. I mean,
yeah, the stories, you know.
Yeah, the girl I was dating at the time, she went to Penn, and that's how I met her. I was doing a show there, magic show, and it was just for, you know, a group of people, and I was bending metal with my mind, and she just was like, "I'm in love," and she came home and never left my apartment until we broke up. I mean, her mom and I had a conversation, and she's like, "My daughter wants to travel. She's a fashion designer." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not moving for anybody anymore." And she was like, that's messed up. My daughter won't leave and travel and go to Italy and shit if you don't go. And I ended up just telling her, wasn't working out. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And she accused me of cheating. And I'm like, if you only knew I had a heart-to-heart with your mom. But I wasn't going to throw her mom under the bus like that. I was just like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not cheating, but whatever, if that's what you want to believe. And she's like, that's the only thing that makes sense because I was like, it's just not working out. But she's actually moved up in a very good company, and she designed mad amounts of shit that makes good money. But yeah, she went there, and I was like, I want to go meet those people. And she's like, I don't know who they are because, it's not like everybody at college knows each other. And I'm like, you're lying to me. They're my people.
They're your people.
But yeah, it was mainly because I wanted to meet the girl who was the witch. Because a lot of the stuff that she was doing was part of Scott Cunningham. And if anybody's into witchcraft or Wicca, self-practitioner, the big names like Scott Cunningham or Raymond Buckland. And she was doing a few things that they did, and it looked like a combination. I just wanted to meet her so I could be like, hey, I noticed these rituals you were holding. It seems to be a mixture, and herbal magic doesn't really mix with, that brand that you're using. I'm just curious on where you came up with it, but never got a chance to meet her. Oh, Funkin' Zombie, how's it going? Like that name. Big zombie head. Oh, dude, are we ever gonna talk about zombies? Dude, I think you're muted.
Damn, I was. Yeah, I'm not really into the whole zombie craze. Damn, I don't even know what I didn't end up saying but said already. Damn. I'm just sitting here chatting, didn't even realize I was on mute. Shit.
I kind of noticed because I was like, I'm not hearing any sound whatsoever, not even a breath. And I was like, he's not breathing right now? Am I going to have to find out where he lives so I could send an ambulance? Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here chatting away. I do that shit on Twitch too.
The Thai boxer who did all the movies like Ong Bak. What was his name?
No idea, man.
Did you ever see the movie Ong Bak?
No.
Oh, dude. So this Muay Thai fighter, man, he's insane. There's a scene where a guy confronts him and they're standing there looking at each other. He looks up at a street light, bro, and then he leaps in the air and breaks it with his knee. Dude, that's insane.
With his knee?
That's, yeah, insane. Tony Zhao, maybe?
Yeah, I never heard.
Hold on, I'm going to look him up real quick because Ong Bak was his big movie, but he's done quite a few, and that Muay Thai boxer is insane. You know who I think has one of the most powerful kicks I've ever seen in my life? Joe Rogan.
I never seen him do any of his UFC shit, just comedy.
Oh no, dude, did you ever see him working out?
No, I never watched any of that shit.
Yeah,
just comedy stuff. That show he was on back in the day. Hell, what was that show he was on? I can't even remember what it was called. It wasn't out very long, maybe a season or so.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up a video.
News Talk Radio, I think is what it was called. It had Phil Hartman in it. Is that what it was called? News Talk Radio or something? It wasn't out very long. It was a funny show. I love Phil Hartman. That's a crazy freaking case too. Like the whole murder-suicide thing. Sad.
Okay, bro. Since you already played that whole Joe Rogan thing, right? So if you get dinged or whatever it is, for playing that entire thing, then you won't have to worry about getting striked for this video.
Yeah, because I'll just take
So-
the video down. It's just a Friday video. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing.
Okay, so this is
That's why I
Joe-
was like, I'm playing the whole thing. If it gets, you know, if I got to take it down, oh well, it's a Friday night stream. That's just kind of whatever, you know, nothing's planned or anything. So.
All right. I sent you the link. So you may have to
All right.
scroll through until you see him in a gym with punching bags. But when you see this kick, you're going to be like, I don't want to get beat up by Joe Rogan ever. It looks like 1 minute and 57 seconds. That's what it shows in the
Oh, this is old. This is when he had hair.
Martial art I got into was Taekwondo. And, you know, as we see in MMA, Taekwondo is not the most effective martial art. But there's some techniques in Taekwondo that are very effective. And we're just starting to see them now. One of the big ones is
Wow,
the
this
turning
video is
side
old
kick.
as shit.
Back kick. That's what a lot of people talk about. And I'm going to break that down and show everybody how it's done. When I was in Taekwondo, this was my
You're talking
specialty
like
kick.
20
This was my
years
number one
old.
kick. And one of the things that people do wrong about this kick is they spin. It's a technique where they spin and they wind up kicking like this, and it kind of goes down to the side. So instead of coming straight with all your energy going forward, what they do is they go like that, and they wind up almost kind of going to the side. It doesn't have as much power. The way to do it correctly is as you're standing, you turn your heel like this, and as you turn your heel like this, then you turn and go straight. It's got to be a full kick and a tremendous amount of power. It's the most powerful kick, I think. This is what it looks.
Damn!
So it's one of those kicks that there's a lizard again. Look at this.
A lizard. Oh, there is. Damn, that's a big one too.
That's gonna bring in. Really? I'm kidding. I don't know. That's my lizard. It's my pet. Anyway, I'll show it again. Like I said, a lot of people, they do it too. They spin too much, and they wind up kind of glancing off of it. That's a common mistake. It's not a spin, it's a turn. And at the end, the most important thing is, as you turn, the knee comes up, and then from here, as you go forward, when your foot hits the bag, this happens. And you wind up looking over your shoulder.
You gotta
So
pop
this
it.
is how the power comes from the hip. It's from here, and then as you hit, it turns over like that. And that's what a lot of people do wrong about that kick.
Instead of push, you
A
gotta
lot of
pop.
people, when they throw the side kick or when they throw the turning side kick, it's really just sort of a leg thing. And it's not a leg thing. It's a whole body thing. It's here, and then it's a twist. That's where all the power comes from. Here, and then once the knee is up, twist is where the power comes in.
Does that quick as shit too.
Kung Lee does my favorite one.
He does that quick as shit too.
Dude, do you hear the impact?
Punch,
Yeah. Quick as shit and just
and it's a 360 turn side kick. It's got much
that's a
more.
pop for sure.
And what's good one about that is if
That's
you
a
don't train
body
the guy
flying back.
who's good at it,
That's a
he is,
fucking
you
body
don't realize
flying
how much
backwards.
distance he's got to go.
That's a lot of fucking power.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's fucking. That's
So
a body
how many-
flying backward for sure.
So I am gonna give you something else for your Friday night open. Quantum physics and space travel. So have you guys ever heard of the weight calculation? WAIT.
I never have, man.
Okay, so everybody, the weight calculation is why we haven't done space exploration. So let's pretend that myself, Kelt, and Funkin' Zombie are the three engineers working on a rocket ship engine that's going to take us from where we are to, let's say, Sirius B, so that we can go out there and see another solar system. So as we all put our minds together, we create this amazing engine that can go half the speed of light, right? Let's just say 1/5 the speed of light to make it easier. 1/4 the speed of light, that would make it easier instead of 1/5. So we create this, and suddenly Funkin' Zombie's like, hell yeah, I'm about to go to space and head to that other solar system because I'm going to get there in X amount of years. So Kelt and I go, hey, that's a bad idea, because with the exponential growth of research and engines and everything, if you wait like 20, 30, 50 years, we'll build a new engine that'll go faster. But Funkin' Zombie's like, funk that, I'm out. So gets a crew together, gets on a ship, and starts to fly out. Suddenly, we're like missing him so much that Kelt throws a wrench at the engine, and it knocks, let's say, lug nut off of a region, and we both go, Eureka! This can travel at, almost half the speed of light. And Kelt's like, you know what? I'm going to beat him there, because once she starts flying out, it's going to jump past that ship. Because when you think about it, they're going at a steady speed. Well, if this engine goes faster, they're going to get there in double time. So after Kelt leaves, I'm like, great. And EvilleCJ walks in the room and says, hey, I figured out what the problem is with your engine. And I'm like, what? And he says, if you remove this entire portion, we can now go at light speed. So me and EvilleCJ hop on a ship and jump light speed, and we get there in a fraction of a time that it takes both the other ships. So once we get there, we find a bunch of primates that are almost human, and we say, hey, let's mess with their chromosomes. We'll attach some of them, and then we'll jump out like half a light year and come back, and like 20,000 years will pass. Evolution will jump up, and we'll have humanoid type creatures. So now we come back and they worship us as gods, and we tell them that we have magic powers. I take out a stun gun or a cattle prod, and I say that I'm Neptune, and I can shock the fuck out of people and control water, because our ship can actually, move water. So they think we're gods, and CJ pulls out a gun and points at them and says, I'm going to use a thunderbolt to fucking kill you. Bang! And it's a loud crash, and we now are gods. We make them build monuments, and we make them build structures that look like Kelt and look like Funkin' Zombie, so that when they show up to the planet, they're going to say, holy shit, somebody beat us here. So now, since Kelt has the next fastest ship, they show up, and it's already been a lot of time passed, so EvilleCJ and I are both past. And when you show up, you see all these monuments with structures that look like us and you. And when you land, the people worship you, your gods coming in place of their original god. And Kelt is like, oh my God, they built a civilization. How'd they get here so fast? They must have built an engine that traveled at full light speed. And then Kelt starts giving them more information, and maybe she gets pissed off and wipes out an entire portion of the species that runs that planet because they're trying to revolt against us. And she's like, we can't have that, because Funkin' Zombie's going to get here, and we don't need a war. And we don't need them to have these special weapons that they're creating that I started teaching them to make. So she wipes out a couple of regions with maybe a rocket or a bomb, or they send in troops and just wipe them all out. So then Kelt's time passes, and Funkin' Zombie shows up, double the time that it would have taken Kelt to get there. So it's double the time in the future. Kelt's already passed away. Funkin' Zombie, they're called generation ships, by the way. So a generation ship, if you ever watch the show Ascension, you're going to be like, oh, that's what it is. So a generation ship is a group of people, 100, 200, 300 people or more, that get aboard a ship, and they know that they're going to travel out. They're going to have to reproduce and raise children and teach them the ways of controlling and repairing the ship, how to, advance certain things. So by the time Funkin' Zombie ship arrives, it could have already been like 8 generations, 10 generations, 12 generations of growth of humans. And when they get there, they're going to be like, oh, wow. So EvilleCJ and allegedly got here way, way long ago, like 100,000 years ago, and already built structures. And then natural disasters started taking down stuff. And they worshiped them as gods. And then they laid with the people, these alien beings. Well, in reality, we'd be the aliens, but they laid with them and interbred with them. And now there's part human and part whatever this creature is running around the planet. So that's what the weight calculation is. The growth of mankind exponentially gets faster and better. Like within the past 100 years, we started to get, planes, and we were mobile with vehicles. And then suddenly it leaped to jets and bombs and leaped to microchips. So it keeps, our growth gets so much faster in less time that the weight calculation comes into play. That's why when they create an engine that they think's fast enough for us to have a generation ship to reach a location, they say, let's wait. Because in the next 20 years, we're probably going to have a faster engine that'll get us there even faster. Just a little science for y'all.
Boom. I went ahead and Googled up what you were talking about too. Just kind of have it in the background. Abstract and figures and all sorts of crazy stuff here.
See,
yeah, I can't wait to talk
learn
about
this
this moon
and
stuff tomorrow night. It's
the
gonna be
moon
fun,
stuff
man.
is scary.
It's gonna be fun. Nah,
So
it's
if
fun.
you guys have a chance, watch Ascension, because the stuff that's talked about in that show are complications with space travel. Have you guys
What
ever
channel is
heard
it
of
on?
the show Ascension?
What channel's it on? If
It
for people
was
that you have-
Netflix, but it's been removed because
Oh, really?
they canceled it. But it was such a good show, I don't know how they could cancel it. So basically with Ascension, it starts off with all these people aboard a ship, a generation ship, and they're raising their children and teaching them about space travel. And they have to close the windows when solar flares occur. They have to have safety precautions for all the radiation in space. And one night when they went on lockdown because there was some problem with the ship, and the ship shut down and closed all the windows, and they went into repair mode, they had to get into their those chambers where you get inside of it. It's in all the sci-fi movies, cryogenic chambers, so that they can sleep during the process of the ship repairing itself. And one of the kids decided not to get into the cryogenic chamber and hid. And then they saw somebody come through a door, steal a necklace, and walk around checking on stuff, looking through stuff, and then leave. So you have the engine room who's like, there's a conspiracy going on here. There's a problem. This is all fucked up. They don't have guns because you don't want a generation ship to start going out there with weapons, because people will just go stir crazy. And the people start to question if everything's real. And they all look like they're from the 1940s, right? And that's when the ship left Earth. And then you find out it's a government project, and none of these people know that they were actually not in space, that they've been on Earth the entire time. And all of the ship repairs were them getting into cryogenic chambers, which just had sleeping gas to knock them out, so that people could come in and fix things and move things and lock down hatches so they can't leave. It was insane. The show is so crazy. But
why'd they take it off Netflix? Because it was just
it got
controversial,
canceled.
or what? Oh,
It
yeah.
just got canceled. But it's because it was a project from the past that our government was trying to implement, where they were going to take a large group of people, put them into a location and tell them they were flying into space, and then watch what happens when people are confined in a large craft and they have to, birth their own children and raise their own children. And then when they die,
It would be tough.
yeah. And that's another thing. When people died because they were in there, they looked like they were from the 1940s because that's when they were in the ship. but the current time was like 2010. So all of those generations, you know, all these babies are born, and they were only allowed to have a certain amount of babies, like one per family, because you don't want to overburden the ship. You know what I mean? And they scheduled relationships for children so that they would grow up and get married and have children, and then those children would be raised to be like the chief engineer, the lead technician for the electronics.
It would definitely be. It's like that movie Interstellar, you know. That'd be tough, man. Just being in a small ass ship, you know.
Oh, you sent me a gift?
As we have overburdened our ship. Kids are crazy.
Kelt, where did you send me a gift? How did you get my address?
Dun dun dun.
Kelt's outside my window.
Uh-oh. Knock knock.
Well, it's not.
Who's there?
It wouldn't be that freaky, except I'm on the second floor and there's nothing out there. How is she outside my window? What movie was that from? Salem's Lot, right? Where his friend came to the window and he's like, "Let me in," and he's like, "I can't," and he's like, "Let me in," and he's like, "I'm on the second floor, bro. How are you in my window?" Oh, you found me a site? That's awesome, Kelt. What is it, RedTube?
A great site.
I already know where RedTube is. Believe me, I know.
To your email or what?
I don't know. I'm just joking about RedTube though. I make that joke all the time. Or OnlyFans. I'll be like, "Oh, you sent me free membership to your OnlyFans? That's so sweet."
Well, shoot. Let me look up here. Man, Buffalo's getting a lot of freaking snow. I was watching one of them storm chasers.
Dude, I don't want
like
snow
4
yet.
feet or something.
I'm south of there, so that's fine. They can get all the snow. Don't bring it here.
Ooh.
Yep, cryogenic sleep there, Pumpkin Zombie. That's exactly right.
Yeah. It's about what kind of sleep it's going to be tonight. It's so freaking cold.
Dude, I was just going to say that. Like, I have a window open
Man.
and I'm freezing.
Yeah, I got me a little space heater going tonight, sitting right next to me. Freaking cold out. Makes you not even want to go outside. Upper part of my state got snow. Yeah, I was watching the buffalo crap from them storm chasers. That was crazy. Well, shoot. Let me see if I got some other videos here. Let's see. So somebody mentioned a couple days ago about this Harmony Montgomery stepmom takes plea deal. What is that? The one where the boyfriend or dad did something?
So mom was relieved of custody because of her addiction issues. And instead of letting Harmony stay with the foster family, they gave custody to the father. So the father had a girlfriend, moved in, they lived together, and they claimed Harmony on their food stamps, right? So the brother comes over one day and he's like, "Dude, how'd she get that black eye?" And he's like, "Oh, I was smacking her around. I was punching her around, throwing her around the room." And he's like, "That's messed up." So suddenly, 2 years later, nobody's seen Harmony at all. Mom got out of her rehab and she's doing better. And she was like, "I want my daughter." And he told the cops that he dropped the daughter off at the mother's house, or met with the mother and gave her the child. And the mother's like, no, why would I be looking for my child if he gave me my child? So they did this investigation, and it was quiet for the longest time. There's interviews with police where they stop him because, you know, they want to question him, and he's like, I'm not telling you shit, but I'm going to keep talking. And he's like, I didn't do it. I'm her father. And he's like, dude, I'm a father too, and you're not even worried about her. And they were detaining him for a detective to come and talk to him at this location where him and his new girlfriend were staying. So they arrest the old girlfriend that was claiming the food stamps. They arrest her on federal charges of claiming Harmony when she wasn't in the household. So because they're like, well, when did she went missing 2 years ago, right before Christmas time or something. So how can you keep claiming her for 2 years? So they bring her in, and they let her go, and nobody understood why. But we kind of figured out that she cut a deal. So in the recent release, they explained that she said he beat her to death with his bare hands, and you know he got rid of the body, and that's why they went to the old house, checked the refrigerator, because she said that he put her, like, this is what we're assuming at this point, that he stored her in the fridge and then did whatever to dispose of the body. And they were checking the drain pipes and the sewer, meaning she was frozen. People started smelling the scent and got rid of the body, but they haven't found much evidence yet. But they arrested him for the murder because of her statement, and you know, it's just crazy. It's a horrible story.
Wow, that's gross. Yeah, somebody in chat, I think it was Phantom, it was before I started a stream, and they said, hey, check this case out, and then I wrote it down, but we ended up not even being able to get into it, and then I just forgot about it until today, and I was like, shit, somebody had mentioned something about this case, so I went ahead and saved this video, but it's just some kind of court proceeding or something. I think I wasn't going to watch it, just have some pictures up in the back just to show what we're talking about.
Dude, you can find pictures of Harmony. Man. She is the cutest little chick ever. Like, she's blind in one eye, like completely blind, but she's the cutest chick ever. Like, I don't really ever comment on children until I started seeing some of these, like Dior Koontz, most adorable pudgy faced little kid on the planet. And I'm not one to go, oh, your kid's cute. Usually I'm like, man, how do you tell your friend that your kid is ugly and not hurt their feelings and end a friendship? And my friend will be like, you just don't say anything. And I'm like, yeah, but this person always posts pictures of their ugly ass kid. And they're like, Scott, shut up. It's my kid, right? And I'm like, hey, if you think your kid's ugly, that's fine. I'm just not going to say whose kid I think is ugly. But now that I'm doing all these missing person cases, you can't help but see how cute they are. Like with Quentin, I had to mask him out of the background.
Yeah.
And he's the cutest little kid.
He's so adorable. Yeah, he's
and
so
then you
adorable.
have Harmony. She is adorable, dude. Just Google search her name
They all
and
are,
pull up images.
you know?
You're like, oh my gosh. Well,
yeah.
And, you know, I know this is going to sound mean and people are going to hate me for this. Like, I don't think Summer Wells is a cute little kid. I think she's, you know, she looks like she's just so drained from life, and she's only a 5-year-old child that's missing. Dior Koontz, bundle of joy when you look at this kid. You're like, oh my gosh, this kid is so adorable. But I'm not one of those people that are like adorable. I'd rather look at cat videos. But now that I'm doing all these videos, it breaks my heart, dude. And Harmony Montgomery, it broke my heart knowing that she was missing for 2 years and not one person from the child services who are supposed to check to make sure dad's not doing drugs and shit, not one of them went and said, I demand to see the child right now for 2 years.
I don't know, like, I like there's some kids like with Summer Wells, you can see the abuse that takes place just on the child's physical nature. But I still think every one of them is beautiful. Still. I mean, just because they have signs of an abusive atmosphere, you know, I could still see she's got beautiful blue eyes. You know,
guys, listen. I know
mean,
it sounds bad, and I said
I just think they all are, no matter what child there is. Yeah.
I bet you if I had to edit a video and create it,
Do you
I
have
would
a kid?
find every kid. No, I have a
Do you
cat.
have a kid?
Dude,
Okay,
that's-
that might
my
be
cat
why.
is more than
'Cause
enough.
maybe you might think differently if you've had a child before.
No, when I came home from the
because
military,
the
it was for my
experience
niece.
is like none other.
Yeah, my niece was an ugly kid too, and I treated her like she was beautiful, but I was just like, once she reached, I was like, hey, as a child, my sister she got knocked up by a guy from a sheriff's department at 15, and she was like, I don't want him to get in trouble. I don't want to say anything, and I was like, fine, I'm coming home, and I came back from the military, and for like 2 straight weeks, I had her kid. Like, I was a dad, 100%. And then after the second week,
It's different though, man. It's different when
she
you
took off.
actually are faced with the fact that your DNA created another DNA. It's I mean, I get like you're looking at it like a step parent would because it's not blood,
Right.
it's not something that you took part in, so it's a different viewpoint of it, and that's what I'm saying. Like if anybody has had the experience of having a child, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Every
Yeah.
child is beautiful, no matter
that
what.
goes back to my previous statement when I said, how do you tell your friend that their kid is ugly and stop putting up pictures? Because parents will always see their child as gorgeous no matter what. I get that.
Of course, and every other child, because it's just a different experience. Because I don't know how to explain it. Any parents out there would totally understand what I'm talking. It's hard to explain, and it's a totally different viewpoint on when it comes to that whether they are
being
unattractive or not.
Yeah, but I mean, as soon as I start editing the pictures for these missing kids, like Dior Kuntz was one of the hardest ones that I had to deal with. Quentin Simon was very moving because I wasn't really involved in the case, but once I was making the video that I put up, I was like, oh, you know what I should do? I should edit out everything in all the backgrounds because nobody in that household deserves to be in a picture with that kid. So I started editing it out and making Polaroids instead. Yeah. And I was just like, this kid is so adorable. But I didn't see it until I started making the edits.
Yeah, he is. He's a little man.
But dude, Harmony, the thing about Harmony Montgomery, the thing about Quentin, the thing about Dior, the thing about every kid that disappeared, they are like Quentin, what was he, 20 months old? Dior Kuntz was 2 years old. Harmony was, I believe, 5-ish. I can't remember her exact age. Anybody under the age of 18, I don't care if they're 17 and they think they can rule the world. Anybody under the age of 18, they can't defend themselves. They can't call for help. Even 17-year-olds that are calling people for help, they're just told, are you sure? Is your story real? For me, anybody under 18 that goes missing, every adult on the planet that's in the vicinity should be out there scouring everything. The parents should be put into a holding place. They should be like, look, you're going to be here until we find that kid. Whether they're alive or dead, you're going to be here. If we find them and they're alive, everything's good. If we find them and they're dead and it looks like foul play, you're not leaving. You're staying in this holding place. If we find them dead, but it looks like natural causes because they were lost, fine, you can leave the holding place. But the parents should not be allowed anywhere, should not be allowed to talk to anybody, should not be allowed to watch any newscast, because you know what happens when you start watching YouTube? People start saying, well, what if this happened? And they go, oh, that's the perfect cover story. That's perfect. I'm going to use that. Even if I brutally demolish this child and, like, you know, so I forget who it was, but somebody said, what if they put Michael into a wood chipper? If that occurred, they need to be held responsible, because if they're free watching the news, even the news, court TV, everybody, they give scenarios. Well, what if this happened? What if this happened? And it gives them ideas to make cover stories. They should be put in a holding cell, everything taken from them. Done. Find the child. If they can't find him, go back and ask, tell us your story again, because we're going to follow the path. Most of these cases would be solved if they actually held the parents and made them sit in a room separately and said, tell us a story. Fine, going next door to talk to your girl. Tell us a story. Oh, that differs. Going back over to him. It would be so fast if they just, you can hold them for 24 to 48 hours on suspicion. Bring them in, have different detectives go in and talk to them. Tell me your story. Write it down verbatim. Walk next door, talk to the wife. Verbatim, walk back over. How come the story is different? It'd be that simple, but they just don't. They're like, oh, let's file a missing persons report and we'll call you in a day or two or maybe 3. We'll talk to you soon.
It's laziness, yeah.
Because think about that. If, like, today, I can tell you,
exactly,
I woke up, started to work, and I said, oh, I gotta make my food. I was booting into my system, and I said, oh man, I've got to put in my grocery order really fast because then I'll get it earlier. So I logged into my system, forgot to order the food right away. I was like, shit, I better order my groceries. I got to do that right now. Oh, but I want coffee. And groceries will come later in the day. So I'll get DoorDash. And then I started working and forgot my groceries until about 9:20 and said, okay, I got to stop doing this and finish and just send my order. Sent my order, started working. My order showed up at 12:17. I brought all the shit in, made a fresh pot of coffee, pulled my creamer out the fridge, sat down and continued to work. Then I got bored and said, man, I'm going to leave early today. So I called out of work at 4 p.m. early in the day, worked up until 4 p.m. and did nothing except played NBA 2K all day long because work is slow. Then I logged out at 4 o'clock, laid down to try to take a nap, talked to Scottish Queen because we were talking about cases and stuff like that. And I said, I'm trying to take a nap and I can't take a nap. So the police would ask me again, what did you do today? And I would tell them the exact same story. Why? Because that's what the fuck happened. But if you separate two people and the stories differ and then you ask them to tell it again and it's different, foul play. Very clear. It just irritates me when they say, we interviewed them 2 days later. Give them time to make a story.
There's a video that came up here about 45 minutes ago that says it has an update. I'm not sure if it does have an update or not, but it says they released new details in that Idaho murder. So I'm going to check that out real quick here and see what it says.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for Creme to News at 6. Cody Proctor, Mark and Whitney are on special assignment tonight. We'll hear from them in a few minutes. But first, let's get right to some breaking news on the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. Moscow police now say the murders happened while the victims were most likely asleep. Creme 2's Kyle Simchuk is joining us now live in the studio tonight. And Kyle, what can you tell us?
That's what they already said.
Well, Cody, Moscow police just put out new information. They still don't have a suspect, but they have started to rule some people out. Tonight, authorities are also dispelling some rumors being shared online.
New details are emerging in the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. Tonight, the Latah County coroner says the 4 students were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. Authorities found no sign of sexual assault. Moscow police say at this point in the investigation,
Thank
they do
God.
not believe the two
At least they
surviving
didn't do
roommates
that.
or the man seen standing near a local food truck were involved in the murders. Police also addressed rumors swirling online claiming the victims were gagged and tied, saying those are not accurate, and the identity of the 911 caller has not been released. Detectives
Wow.
say they've received nearly
Wait,
500 tips, which are
did they
being
say
And
has
the
now been
identity
released or
has
not
not
released?
been. It said the identity of the caller has not been released, and that they were not bound and gagged. So that's good to clear
truck
up
were
that
involved in the
information from
murders.
earlier.
Police also addressed rumors swirling online claiming the victims were gagged and tied, saying those are not accurate, and the identity
Okay.
of the 911 caller has not been released. Detectives
Wait,
say
that's
they
bad
received
wording.
nearly 500 tips, which are being.
That's interesting. Has not been released. So
But
I
that's
bet.
bad wording, dude. So when they say if what they should have said was rumors about them being bound and gagged is 100% false. They were not bound and gagged. But they said it in a way where it could be one or two of them might have been, but not all four. They just
Let me play that again.
Yeah.
Food truck were involved in the murders. Police also addressed rumors swirling online claiming the victims were gagged and tied, saying those are not accurate, and the
See,
Yeah.
saying it's not
Not
accurate.
accurate. I mean, yeah,
They could
that's
have been.
true.
They could have been
Yeah.
bound, but not gagged. They could
Partial.
have been gagged,
Yeah.
but not bound.
Partial. Yeah. That's good though. At least they're not letting you know one way or the others to kind of keep the integrity of the investigation.
Because
I think
only the
that's
killer would know.
That's a good reply. I think that's a good reply. Yeah. And it's interesting that the caller has not, his identity or their identity has not been released. I don't remember who said it in chat earlier, but they did say that maybe it was the person that did the crime called it in because they got frustrated that they weren't being called after so long.
But
Right
see
on.
that causes more of a problem because if they're not released, so are they not releasing the name because they don't want that person to be a target because maybe they saw who did it or saw somebody leaving, or
That
do
could
they
be a
not want to release
possibility
it?
too.
Right, or do they not want to release it because that might be a suspect?
Yeah. It could be either be what you just said or what somebody else said in chat. They're both possible for sure.
identity of the 911 caller has not been released.
Because with how long it took the cops to get there and the roommates waking up with the cops already there, I could see somebody getting, like what they said earlier, I could see somebody getting frustrated and saying, hey, you know what? Because there's been cases before where the people that did the crime called in the.
Detectives say they've
Called
received
the
nearly
crime in.
500 tips, which are being processed, investigated, and cleared. 38 people who may have information about the murders have been interviewed. The whereabouts of the
38
killer
people,
and
wow.
the knife used are still unknown. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road to look for evidence. Police have also gone to local businesses to see if anyone recently purchased a fixed blade knife. Anyone who saw something suspicious, has video surveillance, or can provide relevant information about the murders is asked to call the Moscow Police Department.
And a lot of resources have been put on this case. 128 members of law enforcement, including 46 FBI investigators, all on the ground in Moscow trying to figure out who did this and why. Cody?
Dude, pause that quick.
They said how many? Hold on
Kyle,
one
thank you so
second.
much.
What'd they say? 48?
And tonight we're getting
46 FBI
46. This case,
Yeah.
128 members of law enforcement, including 46 FBI.
Bro,
Holy
you know what that
crap.
means?
That's massive.
Dude. Okay, so when it's a local case and it looks like it's a directed, situation, they send a profiler and they send an assistant and they send somebody who has CSI experience. They don't send 46. 46 means this might not be targeted the way they're saying it is. This might be like what was being theorized in many chats and many other places. This could be a serial killer.
And with that much manpower,
well, just the
that's what
FBI.
that's huge. And I totally think the same thing, man. Like that went from somebody that they knew to, this is a lot freaking bigger. And I'm hoping there's another campus right next to it. what's that college right next to it? There's a college right next to it too. Washington State University, I
Well,
think.
Kel, don't forget, a lot of when the FBI shows up, like I was saying, it's usually a small group. With a large group, it could be from multiple states. Like they might have seen similarities in this compared to other states or other locations. Like Israel Keys, they never found a pattern or a specific kill pattern because he did it different every time, and he randomly selected people, and he would fly to a location, rent a car, and drive for miles to find his target. So this could be they found the same blade type, size, and dimensions that matches other cases or something like that.
And the same style of crime too. And,
Same slashes,
talking
remember?
about, a serial killer that travels, I'm going to be talking, this is going to be in my interview with Justice Served Daily. And this is one of the individuals that we're going to be talking about in that interview, Henry Lee Lucas.
Wait,
he
was
traveled
he
and hitchhiked. He was part of they called them, let me see here. They called them the tag team, and O'Toole, the guy that murdered Adam Walsh. They called them the tag team from hell, I think is what they. But yeah, he's actually involved in her story, and that's one of the interviews that I'm going to have coming up, and we're going to be discussing him. He is a serial killer. Him and O'Toole, Otis Toole, they hitchhiked across the country, committing crimes, cannibalism, and they claim to have done over 600 together.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but they never
don't
came out with
just have
600.
to be local. Yeah.
Right.
So we'll
They
be getting into
said
that
they
too.
did 600, but I don't think they found 600 casualties. I don't think they told
No,
them.
I don't
or
think they
them.
found. Yeah, I don't think that.
Samuel
I'm just saying
Little is
that's what
another one.
that's what they claim. I didn't. Of course, I don't think they found 600. I don't even think they did 600 personally, but that's just what they're claiming. Is up to
Right,
600.
Samuel Little, he's another one. They couldn't connect him to all the crimes because they were so distant, far away. He was a truck driver, and he was just picking up strippers, hookers, stuff like that, and taking them out. Toy Box Killer, he was in one location, but he took girls from everywhere. So this 46 FBI agents, dude,
Yeah, that's
this
crazy.
is a special kind of case.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of concerned right now, and I'm not even near there.
We got 5 more minutes too. Let's check out some more of this. This is interesting.
All on the ground in Moscow trying to figure out who did this and why. Cody.
Kyle, thank you so much. And tonight we're getting more perspective on this high-profile case from a man who spent decades working alongside the FBI. Chris Bertram's an associate professor of criminal justice and says the fact a knife was used is unique, given the fact mass killings usually involve a gun. He says detectives will have to examine where the victims were stabbed and whether the attack was an overkill. On top of looking into the victims and what was going on in their lives leading up to the murder, Bertram says police are.
Speaking of the different suggestions in the chat, I'm going to throw up the Facebook group, and if somebody wants to make or start a section of ideas for topics, go ahead and start one, and then you guys can go ahead and start adding your suggestions into the box, and then we'll pick from that. So there's a link to the Facebook group, and I want to thank Carly Armstrong again for doing that for me. I really appreciate it.
Are likely focusing on the people they knew.
Somebody that saw them, somebody that went to school with them, somebody that associated with them in the community or at work or in some type of endeavor, and they became fixated on them, and we have to look at that. Or as in some cases we look with school shootings. Was this based on peer rejection or social rejection?
Bertram says police may also be asking around to see if anyone close to the victims had a fascination with knives. Now, in other new developments tonight, the Idaho State Police released a map roughly outlining where the students were late Saturday night going into early Sunday morning. At this hour, they're hoping it'll help the public remember any information that will prove helpful in this investigation. Crime 2's Amanda Rowley has been in Moscow tracking this story all week long, as she's joining us from the crime scene tonight with that newly released timeline and map.
Investigators are still trying to piece together where the 4 University of Idaho students went the night before they were found in their Moscow home, stabbed to death. Investigators are hoping the map released today will provide additional tips from the community.
The map details the night of Saturday, November 12th into the early hours of Sunday, November 13th. It highlights locations and
Well, Kel, I do play Trivia Murder Party 1 and 2 on Jackbox. If you ever want to join that sometime, whenever I stream Jackbox games, I do Trivia Murder Party 1 and Trivia Murder Party 2. It's awesome. And then you just you watch the stream on whatever you want to watch it on, because that's the game show, and then you participate with your phone or your tablet or your computer or whatever. I just give you a room code, and then your device turns into your player, because you're going to be doing puzzles, drawing pictures, all of it's on your phone. And if you have a stylus, it really comes in handy. But there's other games on Jackbox like Teed Off. You make t-shirts and funny sayings that go with it. If anybody's played Jackbox before, you know what? Yeah, Jackbox games. Yeah, I stream on Twitch too. I haven't streamed very much on Twitch since I started this YouTube stuff. It's been a couple weeks. But if everybody would want to do it some night, I'd definitely stream on Twitch. You don't have to follow me or download it to be able to watch it. But you do have to set up an account and follow if you wanted to type in the chat. But you could see the chat pop up, so I could always say the room code or show the room code on the screen. So you don't necessarily have to download and follow. But you'll want to be able to watch the stream on your screen, because that is the game show, the host, the voices, the characters, the timers, all that stuff. And then you just use your phone or your tablet or your computer, you get a room code, and you're in the game show. So since I have the Facebook group up, if enough people want to do it on a certain night or something, instead of doing one of these streams or something, instead we can do Jackbox for a couple hours instead for a night or something. If everybody wants to pick a night or something, we can definitely do it.
approximate times
Hey,
when Kaylee Gonzalez
EvilleCJ.
and Madison.
Yeah, did this thought ever cross your mind about this case? What if you remember how they said that it seems like they were killed in their sleep? What if, because I doubt all 4 of them slept in the same room, right? If you think about it, a boyfriend, girlfriend, why would you sleep in the same room as 2 girls?
Yeah.
What if there was a hit? And I'm not saying this is true, this is all speculation. What if maybe there was a hit placed on the 2 girls? And since maybe the girl and the girlfriend, boyfriend came home first, went to bed, person came in, killed them, sent proof of death, and then they were like, that's not them, and had to wait for the other 2 to come home. And then that's why one girl had defensive wounds, because he killed one, grabbed the other one, and she was fighting back, and he killed her at the same time. Then, did whatever he did, walked out the door, left it open so somebody would discover that they, the bodies, and then called the police. Because I don't think anybody's thought of that scenario. What if, because how parents, they have all these things that they do in life, and then sometimes they owe money, or they're supposed to throw a fight for somebody and they don't. So they go after the family to prove a point. What if maybe the first 2 were collateral damage, and then the other 2, the main person that they were after, came in paired up because girlfriend, boyfriend are paired up. The two girls out having a good time are paired up, and they had to take both of them out. But they collateral damage killed the first two by mistake, or because they came in first, they were like, I have to kill them because they're on the same floor, and the other two are going to come in. I'm just spitballing thought processes. We don't know what happened. But this seems professional. You know what I mean?
Very professional, man. Very professional. I'm just wondering what. It'd be nice to know. It'd be nice to know, like, who was, if there was somebody tied or bound or either or not at all. You know, that would be nice to know to kind of come up with a better idea. But yeah, it definitely seems professional. It not just the way that it happened and how effective it was, but how much manpower is on that. That is, yeah, man. It's going to be interesting when this stuff comes out. It's curious why they're not releasing who called
I
placed
just
the
wanted to bring it
911
up
call
before they give the timeline of events, because if I would have said it afterwards, everybody would say, "Oh, it's probably because you just saw the timeline of events." But I was spitballing ideas in my own mind, and I said, "What if it was a hitman? What if all four of them were a huge mistake, and it was supposed to be somebody else?" So the person was like, "Well, accidentally did the wrong people." Because a normal person wouldn't be able to take out four people in the night. Even if they're sleeping, people would wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But a hitman would know how to handle it, would know where
Done
to
it
stab
before.
somebody. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you stab them in the pancreas and they can't breathe, they can't move, and then you stab somebody
Right.
else in a lung. You're not going to slash and poke people randomly, because if you don't kill them, let's say you hit the rib cage and the knife breaks on the sternum or something because you hit it at the right angle, well, you're screwed. Now all four people are going to kick your ass and you're going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this seems professional.
Professional as hell.
Or serial killer who has done it before. That's professional too.
Oh my gosh, Kel. Damn, Phantom and Kel both have some stories there.
Oh, and Scottish Queen said that it's our 1 week anniversary since she started joining.
Making her stay up late as shit. What time is it right now, Scottish Queen? I almost called you Spanish Queen.
I think it's 4 a.m. now for her. Maybe 5 a.m. She's still hanging in there. You know, I do appreciate everybody who's come over. Like, EvilleCJ and I met in other chats. Just, I knew he was a gamer, and I kept saying I loved his name because I was waiting for him to say it's a gamer tag, but he never did. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. He's not a gamer. So we actually built a rapport in chats. And then when he was practicing his lives, I was jumping in like, I'm here, homie. You need me? I'm here.
Yeah.
So
from the get.
Yeah. Day one, bro. What, I missed 2? I think I missed 2 lives, and one because I took a nap and didn't wake up and slept through it. Another one, I was working on a video and fell asleep. So I only missed 2 of your lives out of you being live completely.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I think it'll be 2 weeks this week, or no, 2 weeks right now, actually, I think.
Yeah,
was
so
it a Thursday night? I think it was a Thursday night, yeah, that I actually had my first show. So tonight is actually 2 weeks, yeah.
And I mean, even though it's not my channel, I appreciate you all being here for him.
Yeah, me too, because like I just feel like each show is just getting better and better and better and better. Like last night's show, I thought that was it's it's not getting the views like some of the other ones are, but I thought that was like the best show so far. And I'm just excited. I'm really excited to do these interviews. I think it's going to be a different dynamic, something that's different. I reached out to Alex Erickson today. I emailed her. I don't know if she'll see it or not, but she's just I'd like to sit down and interview her as well, because she's just so passionate about the cases, you know. And when I watch all these YouTubers and stuff, do you have her link at all, allegedly?
I do. Hold on.
Can you throw it up there for me, please?
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you, man. She's like one of the only, I don't think I've ever even heard another YouTuber actually get, like, she's really invested in these cases, and you can tell that she really cares, and you can tell that she's got a heart of gold. And you know, I didn't reach out to any of the other ones that I thought about, but with her, just like just the last couple days when she's on streams, because I listen while I'm working, you know, I listen to like my 4 or 5 people that I've been watching for a while. And you know, just to hear her cry and stuff and sniffle, just, you know, having a hard time talking about it, it's just like, wow, she's so invested. She has such a heart of gold. And I thought that, you know, with her being invested, it's got to be coming from some kind of reason or purpose or something. And so I just kind of reached out to her today in email and just said, hey, you know, I just basically wrote what I told you guys, and I told her if she'd ever love to come check out the channel, and how, you know, if she'd ever want to, you know, allow me to interview her sometime in the future, that I would really appreciate it. So I hope, you know, I don't know if she'll even get the email, or, you know, because I'm sure they get shit tons of emails, so it's probably hard to check them, but who knows. I just threw the bobber out there, and if she wants to do that one night, that'd be cool. And if not, you know, I know she's busy, so I just think, yeah, definitely check out her channel. She's one of the best out there, definitely, for sure. All right, man. Well, I think I'm gonna hop off for the evening. I might get on tomorrow afternoon, or maybe even tomorrow morning, either just to hop on and check some news and hang out and chat, or see if any updates are coming out or something. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. You know, talked about a bunch of different stuff, like last night. Oh my gosh, we talked about so many different things.
Hell
It was
yeah.
awesome.
It's a good thing.
I had a hard time keeping track so I could do all my hashtags, man. I'm just like, it was like boom, 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 boom. So many different things. But yeah, if you guys want to do the Jackbox, you know, type it up in the Facebook group, and maybe on a certain night or something, if everybody wants to schedule a certain night instead of me doing a show, we can play Jackbox games for a couple hours. I'll definitely do that. And then definitely, with all your suggestions about cases or topics or funky stuff, or wild shit, or unbelievable crap, you know, just go ahead and post it up there. And when we have these Friday nights, and maybe we might even use some of the ideas for our Saturday night streams, but definitely on Friday nights, you know, it's basically we'll just grab from the Dropbox and go from there. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. Thank you, Allegedly, for hopping in, man, and shedding some light on some different shit. Really
Hey, bro,
cool
thanks for
video,
having
by
me.
the way.
Once again,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, cool video,
I'm gonna hop
man.
off so that you can close out, brother. But thank
All right,
you for
bro.
bringing me up again, and this is great conversation. I love it.
I love it too, man. Have a great night.
You too,
Thanks
bro.
for hopping in again. And you guys have a good night as well. Peaceful and positive as always. And I don't know, I love it. I feel like every show, it just gets better and better. And it's just going to keep going up and up and up. I can't wait to do these interviews, have these interviews for you. So excited. I'll actually gonna do the camera, have the background set. You know, it's gonna be like a real interview. Now, whether my guests would like to be on camera or not, it's totally up to them. But with these interviews, I'm definitely gonna be on camera. I'm just trying to figure out a good setup, because the setup I have right now is just, I don't know, I just don't like it. I'm used to my Twitch background where I got my city and shit, but I don't know, the way that my computer desk is, I just have to figure out a different way to put it in a different spot in the room. Make it look a little better, but thanks, Kelt, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely put your stories in there, and maybe we can even talk about your stories if you want to, Phantom or Kelt. If you're comfortable with it, we can even talk about yours some night. Look up some information, send some links, whatever you guys want. You know, we can kind of explain people, like, you know, what you guys experienced as well. Because all we can do is learn. But thanks so much for all the positive comments. Thanks so much for the company, the conversation, the hanging out, the support. I love it. And I hope you guys do. I appreciate it, Kel. Thank you. Hey, you got to put it in the Facebook group. You got a lot of ideas, Kel. Make sure you put them in there. All right, everybody. Good night. Peaceful and positive evening as always. Thank you. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow.